Dude, I was watching a video recently where somebody was saying we need a sequel to Ghosts because apparently the ending was set up where
Such a
like it was
cliffhanger.
yeah, it was like gonna get a sequel and then it never happened.
You
Yeah.
nixing Goldeneye was probably a really smart move because I could glaze that game for hours on end, and that would be the entire
Dude,
podcast.
dude, have you played it recently?
I love that game. I will not say a word bad about it. When it came to Xbox and Switch,
And I remember there were some set pieces in the campaign that I really liked. Doom popularized and defined the first-person shooter and is perhaps the first iconic FPS. But when you think of first-person military games, it's always going to be Call of Duty in first place. With over 500 million copies sold, Call of Duty is one of the most recognizable video game brand names on Earth, and it has mostly sustained that dominance since 2003. Only recently, with COD going woke, has the game perhaps misstepped and lost its foothold in the market. In a packed military market of the early 2000s, the first Call of Duty was released in 2003 on PC, with all subsequent games coming to console. Call of Duty 2 and 3 quickly dwarfed the sales numbers of competitors like Battlefield and Medal of Honor. But Call of Duty's magnum opus, when it soared to new heights, was the release of COD 4 Modern Warfare in 2007. COD 4 was so far ahead in the technology at the time, and I will always be amazed by how they got that game to run at 60 frames per second on console. Call of Duty from the early days was a juggernaut of storytelling, gameplay, and multiplayer that even from the early days meant the game would be selling tens of millions of copies on every game. After the mostly well-received Modern Warfare reboot in 2019, the game has seemed to stumble again, with its Warzone no longer being as popular as it once was. So where did Call of Duty go wrong? And I want to discuss that with my buddy Dean here, who is a massive Call of Duty guy. So, guys, I'll just tell y'all, Dean is a game developer. He makes games for a living. Really cool dude. I just appreciate him a lot, and we play games together a lot. So, Dean, what do you want to say about yourself?
hey man, firstly, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate you, giving me the chance to talk about a series that I've no-lifed a lot for many years of my life.
Yeah, don't you, dude? You have a guys. He has a video on his channel that's like every COD 4 weapon. I think you're just going through like every single weapon, didn't you?
Yeah, that's my first ever upload is me and my buddies who I've been gaming with for a long time. One of them I met on Modern Warfare 2, 15 years ago, however long.
Jeez.
And so me, him, and another guy, a good friend of mine who we met in 2019, we just ranked every single COD 4 gun, did like a tier list, and it was fun. And then as of a couple hours ago, I released my Black Ops 7 beta review, which is maybe the
Nice.
most extensive one on the internet that I found. So if you're undecided,
What's offensive about it?
no, extensive. Not
Oh,
offensive.
extensive. Okay, yeah,
It's very highly detailed.
yeah. Wait, okay, did you like the Black Ops 7 beta in general?
Yeah, I guess without giving too much away, I guess I would say I liked it. It was fun, but it was a little bit too much for me of like Black Ops 6 wearing like a Black Ops 2 like skin suit.
Huh.
Like, yeah, mechanically it's very similar. And frankly, I just don't trust Activision at this point.
Oh,
I don't expect them to
Oh,
deliver. I mean, we see like everyone who's in the loop like knows how bad Black Ops 6 was, like how egregious it was.
yeah.
And that game had a great beta too. The beta felt great, and the gameplay was very tight, and it didn't take them long for them to completely ruin it. So I don't know if I trust them enough to give them $70 for them to just do it again.
Hmm. Yeah, dude. So outside of like I did sort of the drive-by stuff of like playing the campaign, and noticing all the black lesbian girl bosses in the campaign and shit. But like, what was wrong with Black Ops 6's multiplayer?
Black Ops 6's multiplayer, really, honestly, it's not even so much the gameplay, which is the problem with COD now.
Hmm.
Is the gameplay overall is still mostly fine. I mean, there's some exceptions,
Hmm.
but I can't get immersed in a game like when I'm running around with like cell shaded like Beavis and Butthead skins, like that went
Yeah.
viral, or
Yeah.
even like we'll say the Dysphoria flag skins all over the place. It's it's a little ridiculous. It really
Dude,
pulls me out of
the
what
mental
used to be a
illness.
serious it used to
Yeah,
be
the
a
mental
serious
illness
military
flag.
shooter.
Yeah, dude, used to be World at War with like no skins. You can be a white dude. That's your only choice.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was interesting. Like, imagine that. Like, you were like a white guy like on America, Russia, Germany, and you're a Japanese
Oh,
guy in
dude.
Japan. Imagine that.
Dude, I was even looking into like I've got a Battlefield 6 video coming out soon and like dude, Battlefield 3 and 4 were like fucking based compared to Battlefield 6. Like you're fighting China and Russia in it's like all men in the campaign in Battlefield 3 and 4 and you're fighting China and Russia and they just cucked out with Battlefield 6 as far as like the story kind of lore goes because you're just fighting a PMC, a private, private military contractor who like most of them are Americans anyway working for this PMC and it's just like the feeling is gone of like because it's just unbelievable that there would be a battle at that scale with a private military contracting company. I think you know
Yeah,
uh,
potentially. I just don't think they have the balls to like involve like real nations in conflict in games anymore. I mean,
yeah
I know that when we gamed, like we talked about this, but like Medal of Honor 2010, for example, like when
yeah
it was really famous in the news at the time because like the bad guy faction, the multiplayer was called the Taliban, and I'm like
hmm
people are all offended by that, and I'm even as a kid, like that was 2010. I was in like I think freshman year of high school, so I was like 15 or whatever, and I'm
hmm
thinking like are they like who are they protecting? The Taliban? Like I don't get it. I don't understand. Wait, are we fighting? I don't understand that.
Now, okay, I read online somewhere that was just in the they didn't actually release the game with the Taliban on it, did they?
No, it got so much controversy that they
Okay.
changed it to Op 4. But the
Oh my
campaign
gosh.
still referred to them as Taliban.
Yeah, because that was kind of how COD 4 even cucked out because it was Op 4 in COD 4, wasn't it?
Um I think so, yeah. It was Op 4 in that and Modern
Yeah.
Warfare 2.
All right. So we introduced Dean. Dude, any projects that you're working on that you want to talk about? Anything specifically that you want to plug?
Well, just like the YouTube stuff, I just I try to use my like game design background to really go extensive
Yeah.
when talking about games. I unlike most game devs I've worked with, and by most I mean like at least 98% don't care about the medium at all. Like I actually, I love them. I love gamers. Like that's who I am. Like that's why I do what I
Mhm.
do. So I love to talk about games. I can talk about them all day. So I try to
Mhm.
use my game design background in order to talk about them in like extensive detail. As
Wait,
far as like game dev stuff goes, there's something I'm working on. I'm not quite announcing it yet, but I think it'll be pretty cool. So maybe we'll hear about that in the future.
okay. Um, dude, wait, so it's interesting. You just said that you said that most of the game developers you've met don't even play video games?
They don't play them and they don't care about them like at all.
Jeez.
I remember like there were studios I've worked at with hundreds of people at them, and
Mhm.
out of those hundreds, I've maybe found two or three people total that actually play games. Most of them I find are just like tech bros looking for like a tech job, and they don't actually care about the medium at all. They'll just make
Jeez.
like whatever the boomers and suits on the board tell them to make without any real like direction or discretion of their own.
Jeez.
And that can be soul crushing and draining because I think that games are art personally. Um, and I think that they're the most special, most important form of art because like you can listen to like a beautiful piece of music or watch an awesome movie or whatever, and like you can feel and all those things. But video games are the only medium that let you experience as well as feel. And that's why I think they're so
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, ever since I was a kid, that's kind of what drew me to them is like you've got art, you've got music, you've got interaction, and it just sort of immerses all of your senses in a way that like just watching a movie doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. And like all the suits, they don't game, they don't care about it. It's just a way to make profit for them. And like they play it safe, and they're all like boomers and normies or whatever. And to them, like the safest, most financially like risk averse way to make a game is usually to make it woke because that's what they think people want.
Yeah, I don't talk about that enough on my channel. How like A lot of the reason for the current woke garbage is just because people thought this shit was going to pay off and then it didn't. And now, hopefully, I mean, like, I guess that's the one thing that gives me hope for you. And you see it in games like Battlefield 6, even though they fucking had to put women in there somehow with Battlefield 6. Like, they just couldn't help
Yeah.
themselves, dude. It's like, and
It takes
they,
me out of it. It takes me out of it.
dude.
Hearing like women screeching in the background. No moral nation should ever send their women to die in war. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And dude, but it was like they just had to do it. And if you look at the models, you have to like look at them for a second and be like, okay, wait, that's a woman. But at first, like when they're just running by, you won't even notice that it's a woman. But it's like you guys just had to do that, didn't you? Y'all couldn't just be like, no, let's go back to Battlefield 3 and 4 and make them all men.
Yeah, and you can't even get men like as unlockable skins for all the classes. Like the NATO support doesn't have a male skin, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Like
dude,
like
but
what's wrong with just running around as like just like a regular soldier, like a faceless, nameless, like nobody, like grunt? Like what was wrong with that? Where we had to fix that?
dude, you can't, absolutely cannot have that.
I guess fucking not. I guess back to COD, I think that was mostly the case. Ghosts allowed you to be a female character, but you didn't have to be. Like COD Ghosts allowed you to create your character like however way you wanted to. There was tons of unlockable gear. I know people hate that game, but it doesn't mean it didn't do some things right. And I think customizable characters was a really cool thing that I wish COD still had.
Dude, I was watching a video recently where somebody was saying we need a sequel to Ghosts because apparently the ending was set up where
Such a
like it was
cliffhanger.
yeah, it was like going to get a sequel and then it never happened.
Yeah, the story was pretty interesting. I think it's maybe not the best campaign in terms of like set pieces and like characters, but the actual like narrative of it was pretty interesting. And it left on a massive cliffhanger. I think that game is, I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it did some things pretty well, and I don't think it deserved all the hate that it got.
All right. Well, yeah, dude, it's really good to have you here, man. And like from our like hanging out, just vibing, talking conversations, I was like, holy shit, this guy knows like a lot about games. And so I was like, I need to have him on the podcast.
I
and
appreciate I hope I know a lot about games. It's kind of my job.
yeah, dude. Yeah, no, dude. Yeah. Um, all right. So first question here. Tell us about your first console FPX experience that wasn't GoldenEye. Because
Well,
every
that's
like
not fair.
like, dude, come on, everybody played GoldenEye. Like, we don't want to hear people talk about GoldenEye. Tell me about like your first console FPS. It could be PlayStation, it could be PlayStation 2.
Honestly,
Yeah.
you nixing Goldeneye was probably a really smart move because I could glaze that game for hours on end, and that would be the entire
Dude,
podcast.
and it's shit. Dude, have you played it recently?
I love that game. I will not say a word bad about it. When it came to Xbox and Switch, you bet your damn ass I got all the achievements for it. I love GoldenEye. I will
Dude,
defend it forever.
there's no fucking way you have actually gone back and like played it with the did you use the yellow D-pad to move around and like the right stick to aim?
When playing on the actual N64? Or you
Yeah.
mean yeah, on the N64, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. Although I will say the N64 version is like artificially harder because the frame rate is so much lower
Oh,
than playing on the Xbox version. But
okay.
no, I'm so used to it. It's just muscle memory, and it doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
But to answer
Dude,
your question, I guess my first was probably Medal of Honor Underground, if not
hmm.
GoldenEye.
Bro, which actually this was kind of a dunk on Andy moment. You were playing a fucking woman in that game.
Yeah, you were.
I mean, they were good at hiding it, but like, look at Spielberg being, of course, a woke bagel man there in 1998, whenever that game came out.
And the game was really, really good.
Yeah.
She was her name is Manon. She's like a French like female resistance fighter. And
Oh
she's just
fuck.
she's someone like an NPC, I think, from the first game. I haven't played the first one too much.
Okay.
Um, but the first game, like it's a good start, it's a good basis. But Underground, the second one, it just has so much more soul to it. And yeah, playing as Manon is a little cringe.
Right.
The
Right.
game itself is really good. And if you didn't think about it, you couldn't tell because her hands are so giant and blocky and manly.
Yeah, there's no way they created a different model just because it was a woman.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. I'll give them a pass because I'll give that game a pass because it was like, okay, dude, do you know what I mean when I say that like a woman in a game 20 years ago was just like, oh, cool, it's a woman in a game, it's not a big deal. But it's like now when people do it, there's this like hateful like activism kind of behind it.
Yeah, well, it's all like it all like depends on the context, right? Like
Right.
before it was just like, oh, like I don't know, this is just the character I've written into the game. It was kind of like innocent. Like this is the character I've written in the game. This is the kind of the story that I imagined.
Right.
And now it's like done in like purposely as like subversive way, like an
Right.
anti-man way. And you can really tell with how they're written.
Right.
Even like a lot of female characters back in the day, like they weren't necessarily like girl bossy, like sassy, like shitting on
Right.
men with every other line. But
Right.
it is that case now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. You put that really well. And like I think what's the word? People have said like woke fatigue, girl boss fatigue. Like
Yeah.
people aren't idiots. We notice patterns, and when you see a pattern, and like to give a point that the other side might give, like in the early 2000s, we had so many fucking military games, and like I wish we had some of those military games now. Like we barely have any. And certainly in the AAA space, there's like zero military games practically, but like
Yeah.
early 2000s we had tons of military games, and like in the mid 2000s every protagonist was like a bald white guy,
We were eating good back in the day, man, with like the Conflict series. We had SOCOM, we had all the good Ghost Recon games and Splinter
Dude.
Cell, Soldier of Fortune. Man, like the list just goes on. Like I can't even name all of them.
Fucking Full Spectrum Warrior.
Yeah.
Dude, and then Rainbow Six, and people forget that like each of these games had like 27 games each. There was there's like 6 Conflict games, there's like 8 Rainbow Six games,
Right.
and
Yeah, these weren't just one-offs. Like these were like juggernaut series at the time.
yeah. Okay, so I guess I should answer that question of my first console FPS. So my actual first console FPS was probably like Kingsfield, but that's not that was like a first person game that I played on PlayStation. So I'm gonna say the first one that I really got into. So this is my like sort of timeline with video games here. In the 90s, when I was a kid, this is the kind of shit that I played on the left. Sorry, this isn't shit. These are all amazing games on the left here that I played like in the 90s. And then I went off to college in 2001 to 2004 and had like a social life and stuff. So I wasn't playing video games. I was just trying to meet girls. And then in 2004, I remember I was 21 and a buddy who I was living with had an Xbox, and I played Halo, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? And then I played Medal of Honor, and I played Halo 2. And I remember I got DSL like just so that I could play Halo 2 online, and I was like, holy shit, what is this about? But yeah, and like it's funny because now everybody says Medal of Honor European Assault was like one of the worst ones, but for me it was like my first Medal of Honor game there in 04 or 05, and I was like, oh, this game's great. But then like looking back at it now, like if you look at the character and like the character models and Medal of Honor European Assault and compare them with Call of Duty 2 that came out that same year, like Call of Duty is like miles ahead of Medal of Honor at that point.
Yeah, well, I mean that's because, and I guess to get into some of the COD lore here, like the guys who started Medal of Honor, Vince Impella and Jason West, they started Medal of Honor, and then they got mad at EA and said "fuck you" and went over to COD. So like that's kind of like where the soul went. Their last game in the series in Medal of Honor was, I guess, like Allied Assault or Frontline.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, fast forward to 2025, and Vince Impella is bringing Battlefield back, other than the woman thing.
right.
But that's the guy who made all the CODs like through Modern Warfare 2. He went and did like Titanfall and Apex. Apex was really good. Like at first, it was always woke, but like the gameplay wise, like season like 0, 1, and 2 were pretty good. Titanfall 2, I still love.
Oh, so. Dude, I didn't know you played Titanfall 2.
Oh, I love Titanfall 2, bro. Some of the
Dude,
to this day from 2016, some of the best gunplay in any shooter ever, and movement.
dude, dude, I like even when I was playing Battlefield 6, I was like, look, Battlefield 6 is good, but it's not peak Titanfall 2. So like I'm having a hard time enjoying it.
And EA fucked over Titanfall 2 real hard because I think it
Oh,
released
dude.
it like right when Battlefield 1 was coming out, and it just cannibalized itself. And I think
Yeah,
that's a
dude.
real shame because Titanfall 2 is like a masterclass of FPS design.
Dude, I don't understand why they don't just like because the problem with Titanfall 2 now is like you get on now and it's all sweats and I just get my ass beat. Do you I don't know, dude. Do you do well when you jump in or
Oh well, yeah, because I'm one of the sweats.
dude, okay. We need to play Titanfall 2 together so you can carry us.
I'm always down. If anyone ever even hints at Titanfall 2, like I'm instantly down.
Yeah. Dude, there's like two or three buddies that I still keep in touch with to this day that I met. Cracker Daryl is one of them, and there's another guy. I met these guys playing Titanfall 2. Like Titanfall 2 was so like dude, Titanfall 2 was just a moment in time, man. I remember that game.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It really deserved a lot better than it got. And Titanfall 3 was canceled. And I assume most of that is probably because Vincent Pella went over to lead Battlefield, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but it's like dude, EA is all about making money. I feel like Titanfall 3 doesn't even need to innovate that much, like on what Titanfall 2 was doing. I just want to play Titanfall again with like full servers with like noobs that I can beat up. And
Yeah,
it-
exactly. Like I'm at the like I usually don't like remasters of games that already, look good. Like a game from 2016 already looks really good.
yeah.
Um but I'd want it to be if not like a sequel, like just remastered just to give it another chance in the market.
Yeah, just right because we forget that like yeah, a lot of these games, and I know this happens a lot with Call of Duty. Like it's never going to have the amount of players that it did. New releases are always going to have that nice mixture of like you've got all the noob players, you've got the experienced players, and like let's be honest, most of these games are only fun to play like right when they come out because a couple years later, it's only the people who like are really really dedicated to the game and are usually really really good at the game and are still playing it.
And who are just using meta weapons, like no one's still leveling or trying anything else out anymore. Like, I was just playing Black Ops 1 last night, and all you can really find is like team deathmatch. Like if you can
Right.
find like a Dom or a search match, you're pretty lucky.
Right,
And
right,
if there's not a hacker, like you're super lucky. But
right,
it's
right.
just everyone's running the FAMAS and the 74U. It's like okay.
Fucking boring, guys. Yeah, so console FPS. Yeah, that was pretty much how I started out. So, dude, tell me about your first COD.
Well, my first COD's not a great story actually. I remember I told you this while we were gaming.
Was this the one with your dark TV?
Yes. So, yeah, my first one was, COD Finest Hour on PS2, which is like the console version of COD 1,
Uh-huh.
and, I had rented it from Blockbuster, and at that point, like, we had the PS2 in the living room or whatever. I didn't have it, like, in my own room,
Mhm.
and, I guess, like, the first mission, or at least part of it, like, you go into it's been so long since I played this game, so this is just memory. You went into these like caverns or caves or something, maybe like under like a cliff or a hillside or something like that. And it was like super dark, like on my TV. Like that's just what my TV settings were at. And like my dad was like very like, no, you can't, don't touch it, don't fuck with it, you're gonna fuck it up. Even though as a kid, like I was more tech savvy than he was. Like he's a total boomer, like when it comes to tech. And so like I couldn't even progress through the game. I had wasted like my entire Blockbuster rental because I couldn't see enough to actually like progress. And so I just got like really butthurt and kind of like I didn't play COD again until my friends were playing COD 3 campaign at their place.
Mhm.
And at the time I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is better than like say like Medal of Honor Frontline. It didn't really like
Right,
appeal.
right.
But when my first real start with COD is probably most people's real start with COD if they're,
Yeah.
decrepit old, boomers like me, I guess,
Yeah.
is COD 4, which
Oh,
changed
yeah, dude.
everything.
Dude, yep. Why do you think COD 4 like just fucking changed everything?
COD 4's gunplay, which is the real identity of any shooter. COD
Yeah.
4's gunplay was absolutely exceptional at the time. It's still actually pretty good if you go
Mhm.
back and play it. The only problem now is like the servers are so old that like there's a little bit of like latency. But if you were to play it, for example, in like split screen or like LAN, like it would be tight and perfect. The gunplay was amazing. Like creating classes was something that was relatively new at the time. Not that many games had done that. I think Medal of Honor European Assault did that in '04, but
Mhm.
obviously, like for other reasons, that game didn't really blow up.
Yep.
So like that was fun. Like the unlocks, the prestige, like all that stuff is like very addictive. Kill streaks is a really addictive, like positive feedback loop, and that really captured a lot of people. And let's not forget, for the time, that game was extraordinarily photorealistic. I mean, I still like go
Bro,
back to that game, and I'm like, man, like these environments have aura. They just do. They have
dude,
absolute soul.
dude, I feel like you can like those old games like the first Gears of War and like COD 4, you can like almost smell like the BO and Cheetos dust off of those games because it was a bunch of dudes in a room just like fucking with each other and being like make it better, make it better, make it better. And like working their ass off to make something that was amazing. And like specifically, I know exactly what you're talking about. I always thought the smoke effect of like no, sorry, the smoke from a grenade when a grenade blows up in COD
Yeah,
4.
yeah, yeah. Like
It
like a
looks
stun or a flash will like leave that like smoke residue like coming out of it, like it's like super hot.
yeah,
It
dude.
still looks great today.
Dude, it still is one of those like it's almost one of those photorealistic things where it like blew my mind in 2007 like holy shit, that looks like real right there. Um yeah, of course we go back to looking at it today and like I don't know. Do you think like I mean I guess Call of Duty is still pretty good in the graphics department, like as far as the campaign. The problem is it's just got a bunch of like black girl bosses in it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very like technically impressive game. I mean, Call of Duty still uses a heavily modified Quake engine to this day, believe it or not. I
Mm.
believe in the credits of all the games, like towards the bottom, like you'll find like an id Software credit as a result.
Oh, dude, it
So
all
they
goes
have
back
that engine tight and locked down as can be. And like that's what gives COD like its signature feel that most other people, even if mechanically like their games can compete,
hmm.
it's really hard to compete with that feel. Like that's really what gives COD its edge.
Okay, now so clearly they did an overhaul in 2019. Is it 2019 still on the Quake engine?
Yeah, it's just they're just different versions of what they now call the like IW, like Infinity Ward engine. I think that was
Right,
IW8. I think they're
right.
on 9. I think MW4 will launch with IW10.
Yeah. Dude, wait, okay. I hear people throw this word around a lot of gunplay. What do you mean when you say gunplay?
Gunplay is it's kind of like a you can call it like a nebulous term, but it's not as much nebulous as it is just kind of a grouping. It's a group of like how a gun feels, how a gun sounds, the impact that it makes, like when you're firing it, the feel of actually like shooting people, like seeing both visual feedback and audio feedback, and making your guns like relatively like both punchy and controllable. So it's really just like it's a group term that kind of I guess it kind of just takes all those into consideration, kind of like lumps them into one.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, I've always like so I'm not even a big like y'all will talk about it in a second, but like around 2013, 2014 was when I kind of like lost interest in Call of Duty and like I still played Modern Warfare a little bit, but I've just never been like the COD fiend that I was. Like I was with Black Ops 1 in 2010, I was like a COD absolute fiend. And like around 2014, 2015, I just fell out of it and I never really went back. But I feel like the guns, I got to give this to the modern Call of Duties. I feel like the guns and Modern Warfare 2019 and forward just feel like incredible. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like especially like 2019, which is probably something that really has like hooked me because I'm also like a bit of a gun autist like
Mhm.
myself, and they got a lot of things right. Some extreme attention to detail that almost nobody in the game industry would ever notice or think to notice. and they just felt great. They were super punchy. Some of them had like actual recoil. You had to actually control them, which I like. I just that's what game made that game so addictive for me. 2019 in particular, the guns were just perfect. Even in the gunsmith system, like that was the first time that it was introduced, and I think that that's the best that the gunsmith system has ever been. Like to this day, they never really quite replicated that. You had like every gun had its own distinct identity, which really like it really helps with your game's longevity when that's the case. You had like so many attachments that were tailor made for each particular gun. Like I watch like gun tubers and stuff too, like Grand Thumb, like for example, and they still talk about this game to this day. It was just if you're into guns, like it's hard to beat 2019.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now, but there's also like the completely unrealistic aspect, which nobody cares about. I mean, everybody cares about fun at the end of the day, but like the way it looks cool, but the way the speed at which you reload the shotgun in this game is just like it's completely unrealistic that somebody would reload a gun that quick. But obviously, like nobody cares about that part of the realism.
I don't know, man. Go to a go to a 3 gun competition where you got these sweats loading up 4 shells in one hand and throwing them all in at once.
I guess you might be right. All right. Okay, my first COD was COD 4, and like, well, dude, do you remember because you said you're not a big Halo 3 guy.
Oh well, now you just turned the chat against me. Now they're all gonna hate.
No, bro, dude, I'm not
It's okay. I'm not gonna shy away from that. It's fine.
dude. Well, do you think that was partly because COD 4 came out that year?
Maybe. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that might be part of it. But I think that yeah, Halo 3 like has some things in it that I love. For example, the custom games were amazing. The customization was good, like for the time. The physics are still to this day probably unmatched by like any game ever.
Mm-hmm.
It still looks good to this day.
Mm-hmm.
My main gripe with Halo 3 is honestly just like decades at this point of butthurt over the campaign. I
Wait,
just
what?
felt that it's almost been 2 decades. It's been what 18 years, I think, since
Yeah.
Halo 3,
Yeah.
which is that hurts my soul to say.
Yeah, it's almost been 20 years. Yeah.
But I discovered Halo in 2003 when my buddy like had an Xbox. He's the only person in my neighborhood who had one, and I met him when I was in like 3rd grade or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced me to Halo 1, and I had a PS2 at home, and that shit blew my fucking dick off, dude. Halo 1 Halo 1 was something else. I was like, "Bro, there's like I love my PS2, but there's nothing
Right.
on the PS2 quite like this." And
Yeah.
so I only had like a year to wait for Halo 2, and I'm telling you, that hype was insane, and that hype paid off. I love Halo 2. It's my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
Now, everyone knows famously that Halo 2 left off on a cliffhanger, and
Yep.
that was brutal. There was a lot of controversy about that.
Yep.
And so like with as much hype and as much energy like went into like Halo 2 all the way through its cliffhanger. For Halo 3, like it starts off and you're just like in this like I guess quiet like rainforest like for a while. It was like,
Mhm.
wait, wasn't Chief like boarding the Ark and like
Right.
flooring it to Earth? Like kind of like what happened with that? It seemed like there's a little disconnect there.
Well, dude, but you should be a huge Halo 3 campaign fan because it completed the story.
Yeah, but I thought the story was like here's my thing too is like this is really people complain nowadays about the Halo narrative and I think it's valid. But the whole like narrative surrounding and like centralizing on Cortana that started with Halo 3. So you have like Halo 3,
Um,
it's
dude,
constantly
Halo
like
1, Cortana is the linchpin of Halo 1.
I don't know. I feel like Chief was a lot more primary in Halo 1 or the
Now,
Covenant themselves. Halo 3 also you don't fight elites, and I think that's kind of boring too. I think Johnson dies like and no, Johnson dies in a way where it like made me mad. I'm like, I got zapped by this fucking light bulb.
hmm,
That's not like the game's fault. I just love Johnson too much. I hated seeing him die.
yeah,
Uh, but then like you have no fightable elites. I think like the Flood they kind of like blew up like paper mache. I thought they were kind of weak, even though you did
mhm.
have some cool new types. I don't know. Halo 3's campaign just didn't hit for me the way the other ones did. But then I fell back in love with Halo because I thought ODST's campaign, which by the way you haven't played yet, so we should definitely play that.
Yeah.
ODST's campaign was great, even though there's a female character in there. It's kind of annoying. I loved Halo Reach, you know, but 3 is it's just not for me. Just not a big fan.
And you're not a fan of the multiplayer either?
I like the custom games. As far as the competitive multiplayer, I felt that it was a little imbalanced. I thought that like in the other 2 games, like if you didn't have a power weapon, like you could still do okay. I didn't really feel that way in Halo 3. And they also made the battle rifle like actual like projectiles for some reason, I think, instead of like hit scan, so it kind of felt a little inconsistent.
Yeah, a criticism that I think I agree with is that like, well, but this is more about Halo 4 and onwards, like which everybody seems to agree is shit. Like Halo 4 and onwards, it feels less like a military operation. Like I recently replayed Halo 1, 2, and 3, and it feels like you're part of a military operation. There's like soldiers and you're getting dropped in, and there's commanders and chiefs, and like Halo Master Chief is just a soldier in this military operation that's happening. Whereas Halo 4, you're alone on this crash ship, and you're with Cortana, and you're just kind of doing this thing off by yourself. And obviously, Chief is just like simping for Cortana the whole time. And then, you know, Halo 5 mostly doesn't even have Chief in it. So, it's, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of my beef with.
But
with
don't you see that
4 and
criticism
onwards.
kind of applies to 3 too, where he's kind of simping for Cortana the whole time? I mean, I don't know how long it's been since you played the 3 like story, but there's got to be at least like 30 times where the game like slows itself down and basically makes you like go to like a crawl speed while you hear like Cortana say some like vagary, or the Grave Mind say some vagary. That shit is really, really annoying. And also I'm not a giant fan of that game's level design either. I think it's a little bit of a downgrade from 2.
They did well. It's definitely a downgrade from 1, dude. Like the level design in 1 is peak. 3 did they reused levels a lot, didn't they? Where you'd like go forward
1
and
did
kind of
too.
backward.
Like 1, I'm trying to
I
remember
guess 1 did.
what
Yeah.
mission it is, but I'm struggling on the names. I'm sorry, I'm old and I played a lot of games.
Mm.
But like you complete the mission, and then the next mission is the same one, but you're going backwards, like you're doing it like in reverse.
Yeah.
But now there's like okay, but there's flood now. Like I don't know. I have a little bit of criticism of Halo 1's, not all the levels, but some of them.
Dude, and the funny thing about Halo 1 also is like, and I agree that it's a good game and it's like historical and all that, and it's obviously amazing, but so much of that stuff, if you read the development of Halo 1, it's just because they ran out of time. And they had
Halo
to
2 also. Halo 2, they ran out of time
dude,
too.
but it's funny that like people make like YouTube essays about the genius of Halo 1's campaign, and it's like, no guys, they just ran out of time. They ran out of time, and they needed you to like go, you know, front and back through the level to like burn up some runtime.
I think most of the levels, like at least the interior stuff, was all made by like one guy, and so that's why sometimes it can look a little samey or a little mazy.
Yeah,
I know like Oblivion has that same issue, I guess, with its like dungeon design. I think it was all pieced together by one dude.
yeah. Yeah, but I do think the important thing about Halo 1 and 2 though is that what they did was they focused on the gameplay being fun, and that is rather where I would rather you spend your time rather than worrying about like level design or something, because it's fun, dude. Like when you go out into a big open space and then you see a ghost and you see one of those big Halo ships like firing fireballs at you, and you realize like, oh shit, I can pick this sword up in Halo 2, and oh shit, I can jump on one of those. Like the gameplay was fun, so that I feel like that's what makes it work.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to be too harsh on Halo 1. You know, it's the first of its series, and you know, all things considered, it's still a absolutely phenomenal and one of the most influential games of all time.
Yeah. But okay, but back to my original question. I guess I was asking you. Well, I feel like a bit that COD 4 did steal some of Halo 3's thunder, because people glaze Halo 3 to an unbelievable degree. And like, look, I'll agree, Halo 3. I think Halo 3 is amazing. The multiplayer portion of it is, But it was always weird to me that Halo 3 came out the same year that COD 4 came out, and I feel like Halo never quite recovered personally to me from COD 4 coming out, because
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
because I think that most people consider Halo 3 to be like Bungie's like magnum opus, whereas most
Yeah.
people don't consider COD 4 to be the best game in COD series.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like Call of Duty was just getting going and Halo was kind of petering out.
Yeah, it seems that way. And while maybe I'm harsh on Halo 3, I think every Halo is at least good. But I think
Right.
that like Halo 1 and 2 set like an unbelievably high standard, at least for me. But even I think Halo 4, like I thought its campaign kind of sucked. I mean, they made Cortana super hot. At least there's that. But its campaign kind of sucked. I think they ruined the Forerunners.
Dude,
And
the only good thing about Halo 4 was like hot Cortana. The only good thing about that game.
but I thought the multiplayer was decent. I thought Halo 5's multiplayer was decent, even if I hated the campaign.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah.
And I actually the opposite. I kind of don't like Infinite's multiplayer, but I will defend its campaign. I think for all of the horrific narrative decisions they made in 4 and 5, I think Infinite they really, because they brought Michael Staten back, or sorry, Joseph Staten,
Joseph
uh,
Staten.
yeah, back to like help write the game, and they had to write themselves out of a lot of gigantic stupid holes that 343 made. So
Mhm.
I think they did their best, and I think if its campaign is solid, I don't really have a whole ton of complaints about it. My one, I guess, issue is I think it's not super replayable. That's probably because of the open world nature.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, what do you think? A couple days, the new vision for Halo is coming out. Do you have any theories about what they might try?
Um, well, I know like they've just kept shopping around like that one image of Chief or whatever, and he looks like very oddly proportioned, like kind of fat almost.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it's a chick with like a vagina.
He has like female body proportion, like especially like
Fuck.
around the thigh
Yeah.
area, and
Yeah.
it's very like off-putting.
Yeah. What the
Um,
fuck?
I have no idea what they're gonna do, but 343 has, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of faith in them. I
Yeah,
feel
they're
like it's gonna be a
trash.
shit show, and
Yeah,
it's also
trash.
gonna be on PlayStation, which is just so weird. Like seeing Halo on PlayStation is gonna be like when I first saw like Sonic on GameCube. It's so weird. But
Yeah,
Xbox has decided for reasons unbeknownst to me to completely kill themselves. So
du-
this is where they're going.
dude. Now, I will say the people who are saying that they're pulling their stock from Target and Walmart, that is not true. I googled it, and I look, Xbox blows, like they're absolutely shooting themselves in the face right now. But apparently, that was just a rumor. They're not pulling their stock from Walmart. But dude, it would be sad, like if they literally have like no retail presence anymore. Like,
It would
dude,
be sad, and what's more sad is like who's going to replace them in the market.
yeah,
If we just have like Nintendo's like, okay, like our handhelds do well and the Switch does well because it's like half handheld, whatever, and
yeah,
and then like Sony just has like a monopoly on like the home console market. I
yeah,
don't know where we go from here because the console market's already not doing well, and a lot of people are switching to PC. So
yeah,
it's like console gaming as we knew it, and maybe at an end we may have like one more generation. And for me, like my one of my biggest reasons that I prefer to console game, which is something that other devs clown on me for all the time, which is fine.
yeah,
Um, but like I sit at my desk, and work all day, like
yeah, dude.
on keyboard and mouse. Like when I want my relaxation time, I prefer to, lay back in a nice comfy chair, big TV, controller in my hands. I don't want to deal with drivers and all that shit. I do that for a living on a daily basis. I'm not trying to do that in my off time. I'm gonna pass on that. But my biggest thing is like if you're buying your games from Steam, you don't actually have any ownership. All it is you're basically like renting licenses, which can be pulled from you at any time.
Yeah,
So physical media is a big deal to me. If I buy a game on PC, generally it's on GOG because they don't do any DRM or, like you actually own whatever you purchase.
yeah,
So if the PS6 or whatever comes out and, there's no, physical option, then I guess I have no choice but to switch to PC. And like
yeah,
that sucks. I don't want to have to. Or I guess I'll just be a Nintendo simp for as long as they keep cartridges or whatever around.
yeah. And dude, Dude, you put it perfectly, and like this is exactly how I feel about it because it's like, look, I like PC. I'm fine with playing on PC or to play on console because exactly like you said, I can fucking sit down, turn the box on, and it's ready. And another thing is, I would not trust any game that requires you to do an update in order for you to play it. So a way that I've gotten around that is you disconnect. Here's a way to see if you truly own physical media or not. Disconnect your Xbox Series X from the internet, plug in a disc, and if the game plays, then you own physical media. Congratulations. But if the game does not play when you when you put the CD in, then you do not own physical media because like I was noticing if you ever want to play the original Cyberpunk without any of the updates, you can just disconnect your Xbox Series X from the internet, plug the Cyberpunk disc in, and you can play that. And part of me appreciates that because it's like, okay, I own something. I own an object that has a game on it, that I can play 100 years from now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I still have all my old consoles. I still have all my old games. I got, for fuck's sake, like I got Atari 2600 games that still work,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't play them that much, but like
Yeah.
they still work fine. And like there's a lot of games now that even like come out physically, and like you said, like there's actually like no data on the disc. Like sometimes like basically it just works as a key saying, okay,
Dude.
this person owns this game, so download it from the store. And that ruins the whole purpose. The only thing that you have then at that point is a key basically that you can lend to someone or trade or sell or whatever, which I guess is still better than digital, but it's not great. Like
Yeah.
like this podcast about COD, like COD hasn't actually been on the disc since I think Black Ops 3. I think that was the last one.
Jeez.
Yeah, since World War II in
Jeez.
no, I'm sorry. I think Infinite Warfare was the last one. World War
Okay.
II in 2017 was the one that didn't have it on the disc. It's just like a little like I guess installer application, and it's like 100 megabytes at most, probably less. And
Yeah.
yeah, so every COD since then has been basically a coaster, which is really sad.
Dude, and yeah, and then that's while we're talking about just the benefits of console over PC, that is something that console has that PC doesn't. Is I will always have, and I know Good Old Games is saying that you can always download your games there, but there is something about like what if all the computers explode one day? What if, I always will have that disc and I can always put it into this box to play that game. And there's something like comforting to me about that.
what if we get a Y2K part 2 and it actually happens this time?
Dude, you never know. Just like, well, because look at games in the 90s. There's a lot of games from the 90s that you can't play. You can't play on modern Windows PCs because Windows fucking said they don't support Windows 10 anymore.
Yeah, and I think, like emulation, like it's not a route that I usually choose unless like, whatever game it is like obnoxiously expensive to acquire otherwise.
Right.
I'd prefer to play like real hardware. But emulation is really important for game preservation too, for both PC and console.
Yeah.
And not every console is easy to emulate. I mean, I think just recently they got like perfect Saturn emulation, and like that console is like 30 years old. So
dude, has there ever been a worse string of bad luck than like the 32X, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, and then the Dreamcast?
It's really sad, but like it's really reflective of what's happening with Xbox right now. Is Sega just they lost consumer trust, and his Xbox, and I think that's really sad. It was sad to see Sega go, and it's sad now to see Xbox die the way it's been.
Yeah, I've always thought that maybe I became an Xbox guy because I was a Sega guy as well. I feel like there's like a short line from like being.
Oh, there's definitely a Sega to Xbox pipeline. Sure. the original Xbox, in a lot of ways, was really the Dreamcast too.
Well, yeah, it had Windows running on it.
Yeah, the original Dreamcast. Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. I think it's Windows CE or whatever on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And yeah, and people in the comments who are making fun of us, like, dude, look, I know Xbox sucks, calm down. But like when you own like hundreds and hundreds of games for something, like just know that I'm talking about Xbox 20 years ago. I'm not talking about present day Xbox, you know.
And for me, like, I'm never the kind of guy who's gonna like stick with one or the other necessarily. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
I'll
of course
go
not.
for whoever is more consumer friendly at the time, which is why I thought the PS4 was kind of anti-consumer and PS5 too, which is
Oh
why
yeah,
I went back to Xbox in the first place.
yeah.
With the 360 and PS3, it didn't take me too long to like get a little disappointed in the 360, and I switched over to the PS3 for the majority of that generation.
Dude, what was wrong with the 360, bro?
I think, and I still think this today, and I hate that everyone fucking does it now. I think paying to play online on consoles is a scam.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And the original launch 360, unless you got like the adapter for it, also didn't come with Wi-Fi, and that was lame.
Oh
Like the
yeah, dude.
PS3 had, it didn't. Mine, I guess, like I had like the arcade or whatever when it was new. It didn't even have like HDMI or anything either. Like the PS3 was extraordinarily premium, like right out of the box. But I mean, it was $600 in 2006 money, so that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the 360 was like objectively better than the PS3.
We should have a whole nother podcast. We'll just have a console war. We'll fight over this because having both, I like the PS3 more. I really do.
Now, okay, but I thought in general though, I thought you were an Xbox guy, or no?
Um, I'm neither. Like I'll go to wherever I feel like is the best experience.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm the kind of guy like I like to own everything. Like I'll buy every console.
yeah, yeah.
So like usually like during a generation, um, I'll basically pick like one console, like this is the one I just want for their exclusives, and like this is the console I like more, so I'm gonna buy like their exclusives and all the multi-plat games for it. And for
Yeah,
this generation, it's the Xbox.
yeah.
Last generation, I initially bought the PS4 because the Xbox One was doing the whole like online only shit and no
Oh
used game
yeah,
shit, and it was more expensive and weaker. And I was like, this is retarded. Like I'm
yeah,
going with the PS4, it's a no brainer. But like
yeah.
as the generation went on, and Phil Spencer initially didn't suck, and like the One S and the One X came out, and like they really started to turn themselves around. I gave them like a real like fair chance, and I was like, oh, like I really like this. I like what they're doing,
Oh,
and
dude,
like I kind of came back. So I
dude.
guess yeah, like I like the Xbox generally more than the PS2. I like the PS3 more than the 360. I like the if we're talking about like later in the generation, I like the One X more than say like the PS4 Pro, and I like the Series X more than the PS5. But I'm not necessarily in either camp.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, what an opportunity. And of course they fucked it up as they fucked everything up in their life, but what an opportunity Xbox would have had. So like the culture is shifting right now and things are finally shifting, and we're seeing that with like Battlefield 6 and like Ready or Not and just some of these based games that are, Space Marine 2. This correction to the industry where all these based games are coming out. I guess Helldivers 2 would be another example. But what an opportunity Xbox had there to be like, oh, we're like the bro console. PlayStation is the gay console, but we're the bro console. And of course, they fucked it up, and Xbox became even gayer than PlayStation by like releasing all of this gay shit for on the Game Pass that nobody wants to play. But it's
Hmm.
like go back a couple years and it's like, man, if they had just read the room better and saw that like, Uncharted is gay and woke now, Horizon Zero Dawn gay and woke, Last of Us gay and woke. And if Xbox had seen that coming and been like, oh, we're going to double down on Chad masculine stuff, it like history would have been different. But I think as it is, like the Xbox is probably going to die out.
Yeah, and like they admit it themselves, like they lost against the PS4, and like that was the worst generation to lose. Because I know you're gonna remember this, like buying digital games and stuff was really only a thing on console, like with the 360 and like
Yep.
PS3 era, like that's where it started.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then, it was like, okay, every game, at least every big game, is going to be physical, and then maybe it'll have a digital version. And then the next generation, like that switched, and it's become like ever more common. where it's like, okay, the game is going to have a digital version, but is it going to have a physical? And so with the
Mhm.
PS4 and Xbox One gen, what they did was like by losing that, like they allowed people to like all swarm over to the PS4 and they built up their digital libraries, which
Yeah.
they can't sell or redo it or like
Yeah.
trade or anything.
Yeah.
And so they feel like locked into that ecosystem.
Yeah.
And that's also like a big issue with digital is it's a great way to have people like control you and like be like, oh, like it's like a sunken cost fallacy. It's like, oh, I bought all these digital games on PS4, so like I guess I'm fucked. Even if I like the Series X more, I got to go with the PS5. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose out on however many thousands of dollars I spent on games, and
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I feel like the Xbox, to me, the Xbox One generation, I was still personally buying a lot of physical stuff. I made sure to always buy physical just because I wanted to be able to resell it to GameStop if I didn't like it. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of people did invest in their digital libraries around that time. And then definitely the Series X generation, there's like barely any discs at all.
Yeah, and me and you are by no means like casual gamers, right? Like,
Yeah.
me and you still go to like retro game stores and pick up a stack of original Xbox games we've never
Mhm.
heard of any before to try them.
Yeah.
All right, like we're not we're not typical, but the normie,
Yeah.
they don't give a shit and they don't really even know any better anyway. Like they'll buy digital because they find it more convenient, and then they're locked in, and like those gamers make up a much larger portion of the audience than we do. It's not even close. And like this generation so far, I think has been fucking horrible. Maybe
Oh yeah.
one of the worst of all time.
Yeah.
At least the worst, like pre NES.
Right.
um and so like a big selling point for me with the Xbox was that it was going to support like a lot of backwards compatibility. Like it was going to play every Xbox One game as good or better. It was going to play a bunch of 360 and original Xbox games, and I think that's great. And I really hate that PlayStation just refuses to have any real backwards compatibility with like PS1, 2, 3, and even some of their PS4 games have like technical problems or don't work at all.
On PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, what do you think about the Resistance games?
I've played 2 and 3 a little bit, but I've beaten 1 several times. I thought that when I first played it, I'm like, if any game is gonna try to be a Halo killer, I think like this is the series to develop. Um,
Right.
but I feel
Halo
like they
killer.
could have. Yeah, well, not to spoil it, but shout out to a video I'm going to be doing soon on a game called Haze. Do you remember Haze?
Dude, I've been meaning to check this game out.
If anyone doesn't know about Haze, Haze was a game that released in, I believe, 2007 or 8, and it was from Ubisoft and Free Radical. It was advertised as a Halo killer, and it was initially just on PS3, and it was going
Mhm.
to come to PC and 360 later. They were hyping the shit out of this game, and it was fucking horrible.
Dude, aren't you on like aren't you aren't you on like drugs or something the whole game?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's called like Nectar, if I remember right. Um,
Nice.
but after the game I'm cooking up right now, I'm almost done with it, and I'll have a video out of very like I do like very long form, like detailed reviews.
Yeah.
After that game, I think Haze is next, and that's gonna be fun.
Somebody said Haze spoilers.
Don't
Uh
worry, you're not missing much.
dude, this just became like let's bitch and moan about like consoles video.
I'm sorry, Andy.
No, it's okay. Dude, but while we're talking about Xbox, do you think Game Pass just failed because like at the end of the day, there's like a very small minority of people who are like weirdos like us and literally want to play like 25,000 games, and your average person, because I think they said there was a stat that's like 50% of people play like one game a year or something.
I think it's mostly that just I think people just mostly want to play like the biggest AAA games for the most part. So
Right.
like what we have to remember is Game Pass is basically like a modern like digital like Netflix or I guess more appropriately for games, Blockbuster, right? Like you have basically the entire stock inventory of Blockbuster, like their games like times 10, and you have
Mhm,
it like
mhm.
at like the tip of your fingers at any time you want. And back in the day, like when you'd go to Blockbuster, you'd rent a game for like $8 for the week or weekend or whatever it was. I know their prices got
Hmm.
crazy towards the end.
Hmm.
Like you were really like invested in that game. You're like, okay, like even if this game is like mid, like it's what I got.
Right.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna show it to my friends. We're gonna talk about it, whatever.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
on Game Pass, like you can play a game, and if you're not feeling it in the first 5 minutes, you just uninstall it and reinstall something else.
Yeah.
And so like not a lot of these games get like real playtime. And I think like in that sense, like where you have really no risk, like for your investment whatsoever in the service, like a lot of games just kind of got shafted.
Hmm. Yeah, dude, it's interesting that psychology of like investment. Like when we feel that we have spent money on some, it's like everybody thought Game Pass was going to be such a great solution because it's like, oh, it's like Netflix. I don't have to, everybody called it the Netflix of gaming, and I don't have to invest any money. I can just try a lot of stuff. But it's like people didn't think about the psychology of, oh, wait, when you pay $50 for a game, even if the game is like not that good, you're probably going to finish it. And the problem with Game Pass is there's so much, dude. And like, I just like, ever since I was a kid, I have like wanted to play every game like at once. I've been like, I've been like, I have like terrible like analysis paralysis. And some days, some nights, I'll just go through Game Pass and I'll consider 20 different games that I want to play, and then I'll just go to sleep because I can't decide like which one to play. And like,
I do it all the time where I download like 40 games and I'm like, I'm gonna play these, I swear. And then I don't. There's no risk, there's no investment. My internet is crazy fast. So it only takes me 10 seconds to install these things.
yeah.
It's a problem. But back in the day, like I would rent games like I know I think you've talked about this game before, Freedom Fighters.
Oh, bro, love it.
Like you'd go to Blockbuster and you'd
Yeah.
find a fucking gem, and all you had, if you didn't have Game
Yeah.
Magazine or if they didn't talk about it, all you
Yeah.
had to judge it by was its like cover art and then like what was ever on the
Uh-huh.
back of the box, screenshots and description or whatever.
Yeah.
And those were like the golden days. Like back in those days, like
Mhm.
you were pretty likely to find a gem.
Yeah. Dude, mid 2000s, like front of the box and back of the box on video games are like peak, and they tell you exactly like the mindset of gamers from that era. They're all like hyper masculine, like very based, lots of hot chicks. Like dude, it's like it's so
They
sad.
knew what we wanted because a lot of
Yeah.
the people who devved back then actually were gamers too. And that's no longer
Yeah.
the case, which is really disheartening. Like if you're like trying to pour your soul into a project knowing that your coworkers don't really give a fuck. I think that's really sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, but like, yeah, those games from the 2000s, they were just dude. And the funny thing is, I look back at old controversies, and it's like, oh, what a quaint, like that is such a quaint controversy now compared to do you remember when the Watch Dogs 1 trailer was released at E3 in 2014, and there was like graphical downgrade from the trailer?
Yeah, I do. I was I think a senior in high school when that happened, and like that was
Yeah.
everyone was talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, that was like a controversy in 2014. Was like, oh, they downgraded the graphics. These guys suck. And dude, and now the controversy is like, why the fuck is like every character gay in the past 25 games you guys have released? You know?
Yeah, or like why are you hyper fixating on details like more realistic eyelashes and reflections from,
Yeah,
pupils when like your core gameplay is like mid at best.
yeah, yeah. But now, but you seem like somebody though who might appreciate like there is something nice about sitting down to a big TV with a AAA game and knowing like, okay, I'm gonna get the premium like experience out of this game.
No, for sure. Like,
Hmm.
we've obviously hit like a real plateau like since like the PS3 era, since like games kind of entered 3D on like
Hmm.
graphical quality. Like obviously like
Hmm.
2019, COD 2019 looks better than, the original NW2, at least,
Hmm.
visually. Maybe you can argue not style wise.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and like a big reason why so many gamers, especially casual gamers, love AAA gaming is because like they want to see what their machines can do. They
Right.
want to see what they can
Yeah.
do. They want to see you like do something like really impressive with them. I'm old enough to remember like looking at like I don't know, like Final Fantasy X, for example, and like that game's like CG cutscenes, and
Oh
thinking like as a
yeah,
kid,
dude.
like, bro, like there's gonna be a time where games like the gameplay looks like that, where there's no loading and like everything is amazing. The sky is the limit.
Dude, can you imagine when everything looks like a cutscene from 1998?
The cutscenes from Final Fantasy X, firstly, they still they still hold up super well. Or maybe I'll expose myself. Maybe this is a little gay, but Kingdom Hearts, for example, too. Like that's another like SquareSoft game. But Square back in like the 90s and 2000s was just killing it with those cutscenes and their games in general. Like, it was definitely like their golden era.
Dude, I didn't know you were a JRPG guy.
I am an everything but puzzle game guy.
Hmm.
I'm not smart enough for puzzle games. I'm sorry.
What was
I'm
the
too
last
stupid.
Final Fantasy you really got into?
I think the last Final Fantasy I liked was 12. I think all the ones after that are kind of lame.
Yeah. Dude, dude, I'm going to lose some followers for this, but I just fucking think JRPG gameplay is so fucking boring. Like, dude, there's just something about like fight and like, oh, you got your guys standing around and you choose fight, ability, or item. Like, I don't want to do that anymore, man. It's like, I understand doing that on Super Nintendo because I used to play Final Fantasy back in the day on Super Nintendo, but like, guys, we have 3D characters who can like actually get into battles. Why do we still have turn-based battles?
Well, turn-based definitely scratches like a different, more like strategic itch, I think. And I think there's definitely room for both. But like this is always like the battle, like with more recent like Final Fantasy games, where we're like there's like people that are firmly in the this should be turn-based camp, and people who are
Mm-hmm.
firmly like this should stay action camp.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would think that the turn-based camp is probably bigger because I don't know how well a lot of these Final Fantasy games are doing. The seven like remakes or whatever like are doing fine because like seven
Right.
nostalgia is like through the fucking roof.
Well, dude, the Expedition 33 did really well.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play that. I know
Yeah.
everyone was glazing the shit out of it though, so I
Oh
do have to
yeah.
try it. But that game's turn-based, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. There's like a little bit of a Dark Souls, like you have to hit a button at the right time to dodge and hit a button at the right time, but it's still turn-based.
Oh, that's cool. I think like Super Mario RPG from like the Super Nintendo did that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
This I could talk about Final Fantasy all day, but it's a little far from Call of Duty.
Dude, this is gonna be the dude, what I was gonna say earlier, and like when we do podcasts in the future, we need to pick like one game to talk about, I think. But that one of the reasons I've started a podcast is because I need that like outward stimulus of somebody being like, hey, on Thursday we're recording a Super Mario RPG episode. Because like that's the only way I will play games sometimes is if like I have an assignment, and
Maybe we can do one where we like play through like ODST's campaign and like while like talking about it and shit.
yeah, dude, we should just do like an ODST episode because I like that like being forced to play a game, but then it's like also fun to yeah, because dude, yeah, I'm just tired of sitting there at the Game Pass screen looking at like 25 games that I want to play and I don't play any of them.
Absolutely, me too.
Okay, do you remember any other military games from the early COD days?
Yeah. What COD one was what 2003, I think. Am I
Yeah,
remembering
yeah,
that right?
yep, 2003 on PC.
Yeah, so I mean, the early days of COD. Oh man, you want to know what like me and my buddies COD 4 was before COD 4 actually came out? And I know you know this game.
Hmm.
It's Delta Force Black Hawk Down. Um, and
Wait,
that
on
game
console?
on PS2. The
Okay, because
the
apparently it was good on PS2.
Yeah, the PC, PS2, and Xbox versions were all made by different studios. The
Mhm.
PS2 version was made by Rebellion, the guys who make Sniper Elite.
Oh yeah, super woke fest now. Yep.
Sniper Elite, like 4 was awesome, but 5 was terrible. But Delta Force Black Hawk Down on PS2 was so damn good. Like the campaign, like played as like a like more strategic, like squad based shooter, and then like the online multiplayer, like PS2 online multiplayer, was sick.
Dude, look at these graphics. This is sick. Um, So okay, so you guys were just playing split screen.
We had split screen like with like the multi tap, so we could have like four. But
Mhm.
I did play a good amount of this game online. I think there were like 32 or 64 players or whatever, which is pretty big for the time. And like the game was like hardcore,
Mhm.
very hardcore. There was some really dedicated players on there at the time.
Dude, I remember. So I think the PS2 version of this game was good and the Xbox version wasn't. I remember on the Xbox version, there's like no checkpoints. So like if you
That
die, you
sucks.
does the PS2 version have checkpoints?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah, dude. I think I played like the first two levels and I just died and started over at the beginning. I was like, fuck, I'm not playing this game. This sucks.
I guess like if we're talking about this, we should kind of like at least briefly mention like the new Delta Force, like quote unquote remake. The IP was bought by like a Chinese like developer or whatever, and it
Yeah.
is nothing like this. It's
Yeah.
like
It's
the game
it's
they chose to
terrible.
copy for of all games for some ungodly stupid reason was Battlefield 2140 or sorry 2042, not 2142.
Yeah.
And cringe horrific specialists and all.
Dude, it's I was trying to play the I had read somewhere that it has a battle, not a battle royale, it has an extraction shooter mode, and I was trying to play that game's extraction shooter mode, and it's fucking terrible. Did you try the campaign at all?
I tried the campaign for a total of maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it looked good, but I was like,
Yeah.
"Where's the squad stuff? Is that gone?" And
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
same controls like fucking shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. At first, it was like, oh, okay, I kind of see what they're doing here. And then once you realize that, like, it doesn't have any of the hallmarks of a like a military sim, it just kind of breaks the immersion. And it's like, oh fuck, this is just like trying to be Call of Duty now, but like worse.
it's awful. It's a really it's kind of what you'd expect, I guess, from a Chinese game. But other than like the original Black Hawk Down on PS2, which I would recommend. I have no experience with the PC version. I've heard good things though.
Mhm.
There's also like SOCOM, which I didn't play too much of on PS2. I actually got more gameplay out of the PSP versions because my buddies had it, and we'd play that game online. It was like Fireteam Bravo, like 1 and 2.
Dude, I that's a game that I wish that I had been there for.
Oh
So
yeah,
come.
yeah. Fireteam Bravo 1 and 2 were super good. I would like to eventually get to the PS2 ones. I just haven't gotten there yet. I really wish that like Sony had more variants in its exclusives. Like I'm really tired of the over the shoulder
Yeah.
third person
Yeah.
narrative cinematic whatever. Like those games are fine and I like them, but it's like you guys got something else. Like
Yeah, dude.
I don't want to be served the same meal 1,000 times over. Like if you eat beef Wellington all day every day for the rest of your life, eventually no matter how good beef Wellington is, you're gonna get sick of it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, can we get a new SOCOM maybe, like as a start?
Yeah. Dude, and it's like towards the end there, I think SOCOM was like trying to do more of like a Call of Duty Gears of War thing, and then it just people were like, this sucks.
It tried to make a comeback on PS3, but if I remember right, that whole like PSN hack that lasted for like 2 weeks or whatever happened like
Mhm.
right during its launch, and it really like fucked
Um,
the game.
hmm. Did you ever play this single player mode in SOCOM on PS2?
No, I mean, like
Okay.
if I did, it was like at a buddy's house for like a very short period, not enough to where I really remember it.
Okay. Yeah, because I bought that game on PS2 and I was trying to play the single player, and it is, dude, it's a military sim game. It's very like difficult to play. Like you have a little menu that pops up and you tell your troops like go here or scout here or look here or fire here, and there's you
Right?
point one spot and there's like 25 different places they could go. And that was something that I liked about Ghost Recon 2 on Xbox and PS2 was because Ghost Recon 2 was like one button, and the Rainbow Six console games were the same way, like one button to point kind of where your squad to go. And a simple command, you look at the door and you can tell them to breach the door. But like console knew that it had to keep it simpler than PC.
Yeah, they got to streamline things a bit. Like like Conflict Desert Storm, right? Like you
Uh-huh.
like hold down like the command button, then you hit like the like advance button, and then like it lets you like spin the stick to tell them like which way to face, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
tell them to either like be quiet or like go loud, like how to like what their stance should be, prone or crouched or whatever.
Dude, that is because some of my friends recently were like, yeah, man, with all the Game Pass stuff, they were like, I'm quitting console and I'm going over to PC. And I was like, okay, dude, but just remember that like everybody plays with mouse and keyboard over there. They're not playing with controller, so you might have a little bit of a disadvantage on some games.
Yeah, this whole discourse like really annoys the shit out of me. The whole like mouse and keyboard versus controller and aim assist thing. It's like, I don't know, man. Like,
because you were saying you beat
PC
some
gamers
dudes
on the regular.
you were saying you beat some dudes' asses when they had a mouse and keyboard the other day, right?
Oh well, yeah, we were doing some 1v1s in 2019 gunfight, like in my
Mhm.
Discord with some of the PC gamers on there who were talking shit, and I fucking not really with a lot of effort, kind of fucking took them to town, started clowning on them. I was like, I could fuck you up with a Guitar Hero controller, bro. You suck, whatever. And like people go like, oh man, like aim assist this, aim assist that, like. I keep aim assist like enabled simply because like that's how COD has felt for so long, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
I don't really feel that I need it though. And like mouse you can be extraordinarily like precise with, more so than a controller, like for most people.
Yeah.
In my opinion is just use the input that you prefer. The reason I don't use mouse and keyboards because I use it all day professionally and it's kind of fatiguing. And I personally don't really like the keyboard when playing like most games like that.
Yeah.
I prefer like the nice analog movement of a controller, though like aiming with mouse is nice.
Yeah. One time I tried, I've heard some people doing this. There's a thing you can do where you put a controller in your left hand and you put a mouse in your right hand, and it like kind of works and is kind of awesome.
Yeah, I've seen that too. If I am ever forced to switch to PC, maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Because it's kind of perfect because like left hand does all the movement. Because, bro, you cannot tell me that WASD is superior to a joystick for movement.
No,
like,
fuck no. It's like
bro.
playing a modern shooter on a controller with the D-pad. It's digital versus analog. Analog is going to be better in this instance, and anyone who says otherwise is probably retarded. So I wouldn't listen to them. I remember back in the 360 PS3 like COD era, like very very vividly, of some of my PC buddies talking shit, and they're like, yeah, well, like the reason there's those crossplay is because if mouse and keyboard players got on there, all the console players would quit and leave because they'd get stomped all the time. And fast forward to 2025 where crossplay is the norm. Every single fucking post that I see is talking about you need to nerf aim assist, like we're getting clowned on over here with
right.
$5,000 rig by these peasants on their $500 consoles. It's hilarious. It's super funny. Like I feel like a lot of PC gamers are very like entitled to feel like they're going to win like by default in a shooter.
Yeah.
And
but Dean,
very quickly, if you're good, like you'll prove that that's not the case.
Yeah, but dude, to be fair though, if we didn't have aim assist on, like we'd probably get clowned on.
I don't know. I mean, I play Insurgency Sandstorm, and that game very recently added aim assist when it added crossplay.
Oh, yeah?
But because I was used to the game without aim assist, when that setting came, I turned it off, and I'm still slapping people. I really have no issue. It's all about game feel and muscle memory.
Right.
So like I've been playing COD for so long that if I turned off aim assist, it would probably feel weird. But let's also not forget that each studio actually kind of handles aim assist differently, which is part of like what gives some of these games like particular feels. Like Infinity Ward's aim assist is much stronger, for example, than Treyarch's. Treyarch's aim assist, like people are bitching during the Black Ops 7 beta that they're getting clowned on by controller aim assist, and I'm like, aim assist in this game is super weak. Like I don't even know what the complaint is at this point. It's a cope at the end of the day, in my opinion. it's a big cope.
PC cope.
It's a nuclear tier cope.
Nuclear tier cope. Okay, so all these we've talked about a couple of these military games. You've got like the conflict games, the SOCOM games, and then Battlefield and Medal of Honor were kind of leading the charge. And there were some years where Battlefield would sell maybe like half as much of Call of Duty, but I think Battlefield never sold it quite as much as Call of Duty. Did it ever?
It did once. And now Black Ops 7 hasn't launched yet, so we don't know what those numbers are going to be. But
Yeah.
odds are Battlefield 6 is going to beat it.
Yeah.
The
I think
only
so.
time otherwise where Battlefield has ever won was Battlefield 1 outsold Infinite Warfare.
Dude, that checks out because Infinite Warfare,
Infinite
was
Warfare, I
dog
think,
shit.
is still the second most disliked YouTube video on all of YouTube. So,
Dude, but I did like I do think there's some dope scenes from it. And at the trailer at the beginning, I included a scene from Infinite Warfare.
I saw that and like it was getting me hyped. I'm like, man, like the set pieces really are kind of spectacular.
Dude, that scene where you launch out of that plane and you're like warthog things like land on the moon and then you're fucking. I was like, bro, this game's sick. And
They just went all out with the theme.
Dude,
I guess I kind of respect that.
Yeah, it's like, look, it's not a good Call of Duty game. It's not. There's nothing realistic about it, but like to pay $5 to play that campaign is like fun. There's something fun about just set pieces at that level, I guess.
Yeah, and it wasn't a game that initially like appealed to me. Like I only bought it because COD 4 Remastered came with it.
Of course.
And that game
and they charged you, dude. It was like, wasn't it like $90 for both of them?
I think it was 80.
Yeah, it was 80 because they wouldn't let you. You had to buy both of them. It was bullshit.
Yeah, yep. That's how they were going to save their sales, I guess. But I will say the first Zombies map on Infinite Warfare is super, super, super good. But unfortunately, most people haven't tried it because most people haven't bought the game. But Zombies in Spaceland is quite good, like really, really good.
I need to check it out. Okay, so why did COD destroy all the other military shooters on the market?
It all comes down to its visual, its technical prowess. I mean, like a game that looked like that ran at perfect 60 FPS on console was like unheard of. The gunplay and feel was great at the time. COD 4 was pretty like realistic and grounded with how it portrayed its weaponry and the addictive like positive feedback loop of kill streaks was really addictive and everyone loved that. And that's why they've really like leaned into it, giving you things like the nuke, in its sequel. Because back then it was just UAV for 3, airstrike for 5, and helicopter for 7. And then MW2 has like 20 kill streaks, all the way up to 25. It's also its progression and its customization. It was pretty unheard of at the time. It was really, really innovative. COD 4 is definitely one of the most innovative shooters of all time to the point where it hasn't advanced that far past that to this day.
Yeah, dude, you think about the I remember how, dude, because like we had fucking Medal of Honor at the time. Like that was one of the best military games, and then COD 4 comes along and it that iconic like guitar noise of dun 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 dun, whenever you go up a level and you get it's like so hyped when you go up a level in that game.
Yeah, and the multiplayer in that game was absolutely sick. Like I mean, I still like I'm a big like search and destroy guy. Like there is nothing better to me than that and the incredible shit talk that comes from search, like to this day. Like 60% of that game was just psychological warfare, just seeing what kind of fucked up shit you can say to the other team to knock them off their game.
dude, these sorry if you're listening to this on the audio medium, you're not going to get this, but look at these screenshots on the screen right now.
The maps that he's showing are COD 4's Crossfire, Backlot, Ambush, and Crash. All four of which are excellent.
Dude, I love that you knew the names of these.
Oh yeah, I could never forget.
Dude, it's funny. It's funny how like if you showed these to somebody who didn't like live through these, it's just like a bunch of busted up towns. Like who cares? But like, dude, just the memories. Because
I've got prime like absolute core memories from all of these maps, all of them, especially Crossfire.
Dude, and like I feel like maybe I'm coping, but I feel like the design of these was like beta tested the absolute fuck out of, so that there were cheap spots, okay, but like there was no like truly OP spot in any of these maps. Like they were incredibly well designed, and you know that they beta tested the hell out of these maps and found the really fun ones and got rid of all the really cheap, just incredibly fun.
Even the
maps to
ones that
play.
have power positions, like for example, like the third story of the main building on Crash, or you can even see in the screenshot the top of that building, that 2-story building. You know,
Mhm.
like they have counters to them, and like the biggest
Right.
counter is that they don't really have any cover.
Mhm.
So like, for example, like on Backlot there, like on it would be like to the left, you can't see it in the screenshot, but there's like a big like construction 2-story building that has a machine gun
Right.
nest on it.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's no way to really hide from that. If you're up there, someone's gonna hop on that machine gun and mow you down like a little bitch. You know, so like even your power positions are very time limited, and like limited by, you know, how well you can control it, more so than how good the spot is itself.
Hmm. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, and then the bottom. What's the name of the bottom right map?
Ambush.
Dude, Ambush. You remember how like the center of the map is sort of the highest point, and then it's like that road was sort of the highest point, and then it sort of goes back down from there, and then
It kind of
people.
slopes down, and you even have these
Yeah.
little like underground pipes that you can crawl through, like if you don't want to like good like expose yourself, but you
Yeah.
have to be like a little slower.
Yeah.
It had a great flow. My buddy hates this fucking map, but I like Ambush. Every time,
Dude,
just to troll him, I would vote for it every time it would come up.
dude, and then there was that. Yes, on both sides, towards the middle was that like roofless building that was like a 1-story building that people would snipe from, and everybody, that was like the power spot. Like everybody was always trying to get up there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
dude, yeah, and then dude, the top, is that Crash in the top left?
Crash is bottom left. Top left
Okay.
is Crossfire.
Crossfire, dude, this map Crossfire, just like
That's maybe my favorite map ever. I love Cross. Well, it's my favorite, but I do think there's one map that's definitively better. Not in COD 4, but just in COD in general. But
Hmm.
I absolutely love Crossfire. And I like to play COD on hardcore. Usually, it kind of
Mhm.
depends on the COD. Sometimes like the core feels better or the
Mhm.
hardcore feels better. In that game, I played both a lot. I don't mind either.
Mhm.
But if I was playing hardcore, ah man, just like Iron Sight, like Desert Eagle sniping people across the map, like through that long sight line. Oh, that's my shit.
Dude, dude, why did the sniper feel so good in COD 4?
You know, COD 4 snipers are kind of weird because I think they're the only snipers in the series that actually have bloom to them.
What's Bloom?
So it means that it's not exactly pinpoint. Like it's got basically has like a little invisible circle in the middle.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like you can think of it as like a very tightened like hip fire um,
Hmm.
reticle. So it doesn't always go exactly where you're aiming. It can be like a little bit off,
Hmm.
but the hit feedback, and you'd see like a very big like pop of like blood when you'd hit someone and they would just knock over. That shit
Hmm.
felt really good.
Dude, okay. So, God, man, I have too many slides here. Okay, so we kind of covered. Yeah, you gave a lot of good stuff for why. Oh, dude, do you remember this map? What was this called?
Overgrown,
Oh, dude, fucking
and that
Overgrown,
house on
man.
the right, everyone would call it Grandma's house.
Bro. Dude,
Fuck, he's
is
on the
this
roof of Grandma's house. Get
dude,
that
is
fucking
this
guy.
dude? There's so many maps in Call It COD 4 that I want to say are like the iconic COD 4 map, but like, dude, this is
There's
this
too many, and they're
Overgrown.
too good.
Dude, Overgrown is like up there, man. That is such an iconic map.
Overgrown is such a brilliant map, mainly because every single type of gun works well on it. There's
Mhm.
always a spot where you can excel at a like as long as like a sniper or as short as like a shotgun.
Mhm.
And those are the type of maps that are really the best.
Yeah. All right, let me get through some of my questions here. Which COD has the best story?
Oh, dude. Uh, that's tough. I would say maybe Black Ops 1 minus
Mhm.
the ending. I think the ending was a little underwhelming.
Dude, I
Where
thought
they
you were
like
I thought you were an MW2 guy.
I don't think it's the best like well, when you're talking about best story, do you just mean like best
It,
campaign overall? Or you when you say story, I more think you're talking
yeah,
about like
sorry.
narrative.
I mean divorced from the gameplay, just totally thinking about like the story.
Yeah, I think Black Ops 1 is definitely the
Okay.
most interesting
Yeah,
as
yeah.
far as like narrative purposes go.
Yeah, doing the whole Fight Club thing where you thought he was real and he's in your
The numbers, Mason, what do you mean? And you
fuck
know,
yeah.
like he's hallucinating about Reznov and shit. Like that was really, really cool. The ending I thought was underwhelming, where you
Yeah.
just like surface after killing like I think Dragovich or whichever
Mhm.
one the last one was, and they're just like, "Yay, Mason! Like we did it." I'm like, I don't know, like he could have done a little bit more at the end, but
Yeah.
otherwise, I thought it was a really fun ride.
Yeah. Okay, what is the best kill streak of all time?
It depends on what you mean. I have a see. The thing is I have a favorite, but like, there's also an objective best, and it's not the same. I'll say the objective best has to be the MW2 Chopper Gunner. That thing
Hmm.
was absolutely fucking nasty. My favorite though is the MW2 AC-130.
Is it what
Just
they got
the announcers in that game had so much passion, and we've
No,
never
dude.
seen that since. They were amazing. Like
Dude,
they really
and
sounded like their life was over. Enemy is 130 above. Like it was. We've never hit that peak since. It
dude,
will never happen.
why? Well, and it's like, I blame wokeness for everything, but like, why do modern games like not like guys make it sound like the dude is gonna lose his life if he dies? Like, make the voice acting better. Like, what do y'all have to lose in modern Call of Duty?
Yeah, they've really been phoning it in, and I really hate that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
The
They're
Ace
like,
130 was great. Like the shot, like would make like this, like the big shot, like the 105 millimeter would like make this like screech as it would come in. It's super iconic. If you've ever heard it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
In certain maps where it was easy to hide from things like the chopper gunner, like high rise, you can like hide like either one of the two like main buildings. The AC 130 was nice because you could kind of angle that 105 mic straight into one of those and just
right.
blow everyone the fuck up.
Is anybody still on MW 2009?
Yeah, actually last night, like I went and I played all the old 360 CODs.
Oh,
And I got
sick.
games in all of them. Like, you can mostly only find team deathmatch.
Okay.
But they are there.
Dude, just OP MW 2009, just people calling nukes.
Yeah,
I mean,
MW2 was just something else.
dude, that's got to be I thought you were gonna say the nuke. I mean, it's hard to beat like a nuke.
I mean, the nuke, yeah, of course, but that's a little different. That's like okay, like I objectively beat the game, so here's my
Right.
fuck you. I'm ending the match because I'm that much better. You know,
Right.
and
Right.
usually the chopper gunner or the C-130 like kind of is like the path to the nuke. Because that in that game, like your kill streaks like stacked. So like if you were to get
Right.
kills, like usually like the meta is like Harrier for 7, chopper gunner for 11, and then nuke for
Right.
25. Like if you got the Harrier, if you went on a 7 and you didn't suck, you were almost guaranteed to get the nuke.
Yeah. Dude, who is this fucking girl boss in
I
Infinite
think her name
Warfare,
is
dude?
Salter. Yeah, she's like your side character.
Oh my god. Dude, I'm gonna say the was it called the Blackbird?
From the Blackbird from Black Ops 1, the SR-71, the like advanced UAV.
Or no, sorry, that's the one that just shows their position. What was the one that like it just kind of hovers in the sky in Black Ops, and all you would hear was like a burn, burn, and it would just like it'd just be like burn, he's dead, burn, he's
You
dead.
might be thinking of the stealth chopper in Black Ops 2 where you couldn't actually hear it fly,
Okay.
but it would
Yeah.
shoot you, and then you're like, fuck,
Yeah. I think it's the stealth chopper. It would just the iconic sound of just like "Bam," and then somebody's dead.
Yeah, that thing was funny. That shit pissed me off a lot.
I guess we've already talked about this, but some of your fondest memories from the games on the screen here. So Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, and then World at War.
You talking about like campaign or like multiplayer?
Either.
Well, campaign. I didn't play much of 1, 2, and 3. I can't really talk about them too much,
Mhm.
but COD 4, like probably the same thing that everyone talks about, like the all gillied up mission, like where
Right.
you're like as a ghillie suit with Captain McMillan, like in the past,
Mhm.
and then you blow off Zakhaev's arm with a Barrett. That was fucking sweet.
Mhm.
World at War, I think the most memorable moment was like when you guys were like playing dead, like in that little like fountain area, like with Reznov.
Mhm.
that shit was super cool. And he's like teaching you how to snipe and like, like wait for the thunder to crack before you hit your shot. Like that shit was really cool. As far as multiplayer goes, I've played these games so much. I would just say, just vaguely and in general, I just love being screamed at, like when I do well. Have
Yeah.
people throw all types of names and slurs my way, or like hacking allegations. Like that's always my favorite. That's peak online gaming for me.
Dude, what was your go-to gun for World at War?
The Gewehr 43, which was a semi-automatic German rifle. World at War had something interesting, right? Where they were kind of lazy. They were trying to like block modded controllers, and the way that they programmed it was really stupid. To where like if you fired too fast, because the game had an uncapped fire rate for semi-auto weapons, if you fired too fast, too much, it would think that you're using a modded controller, and it would basically make you shoot your semi-autos at like bolt action speed. But like I
What?
shoot like really quickly, so I ran into that a lot, and it was really, really annoying. But
Dude.
but that withstanding, the Gewehr 43 is my go-to.
Dude, I can't believe that was built into I can't believe that I had no idea that was built into World at War. They were trying to catch people who were modding.
Yeah, I have a video. So like when designing games or whatever, there's very often where I'm like looking up certain things like about like certain games, like where it's like, oh, okay, like I remember this game had a mechanic similar. Like let me look up
Mhm,
footage of it like on YouTube
mhm,
and like, kind of see like what they did and like how it worked and kind of like analyze it, then kind of make my own twist or whatever it may be.
mhm.
So some of the videos I made, it's just like footage that I captured so that we can do like my gun tier list, like the one that you mentioned, like when we started this podcast.
Yep.
It's just like of me shooting all the guns with all the attachments or whatever. So I posted those things kind of like on their own as like reference guides, maybe for any other developers who are interested or people who just want to go back and check the guns out.
Mhm.
But I have a World at War one, and you can see in that video and that when I'm shooting the semi-autos, like it will do that to me. And there's just nothing I can do to like get around it. But it's really annoying. And when I played that game, mostly it was on PS3, and the standard
Mm.
for firing on the PS3 was R1, so it was like a digital button as opposed to like an analog trigger on like
Mm.
360. So you
Mm.
could shoot really fucking fast. So
Mm.
that happened to me a lot.
Dude, random PS3 question. Did you ever find that the input lag on Killzone 2 was really bad?
Um,
Were you a Killzone guy?
I've played all of them. Or at least I played the first three. I played like a tiny bit of what is it called? Shadows something? I don't know, whatever on PS4. Not really. No. I think the game runs at like 30 FPS though. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
can be a little bit tough coming from COD, which is like a perfect 60.
yeah,
But I will say Killzone 2 and 3 look fucking incredible.
yeah, dude.
There's like all that controversy back then, you remember from like the trailer?
Oh yeah, dude, incredible trailer for Killzone 2.
And it like sank the game. But the thing is like when the
Yeah,
game launched, it still looked amazing. So
yeah,
I wasn't really upset.
dude, it was a really good looking game, and I feel like Killzone 3 is slept on. I played that game recently, and it looks incredible for I think it was 2011.
That sounds
Um,
right, yeah.
dude, Killzone 3, you start in like this mountain base, and it's just, I mean, the gameplay is whatever, but like it probably gave Call of Duty a run for its money in 2011. Incredible looking game. And then I wasn't a big fan of did you like the 2014 game? Shadowfall?
Shadowfall, that's what it's called. I didn't really play too much of it. It was one of the first PS4 games that I got, and I was like pretty interested in it. I played a decent amount of the multiplayer, but not
Hmm.
much of the campaign. I thought it was
Hmm.
it was okay.
Dude, the
I didn't love
control,
it.
yeah, the controls were super weird.
Yeah, it felt I don't know, it felt slow. It felt like too slow.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was really slow. And dude, I feel like game controls are so like they don't get talked about enough, but I feel like game controls and working with a set of game controls that people are accustomed to are like so essential for your console game success. And like just little things like how Call of Duty adopted Halo's recharging of health, and they added multiplayer to the Call of Duty games, but Call of Duty kind of became the standard for how you would control a military shooter. And a lot of those, if you go back to like Conflict and Full Spectrum Warrior and like SOCOM and even Ghost Recon, the controls are so weird in those old military games. And it's like nobody had quite figured it out yet. Like, this is how controls need to work. And so it's just sucks.
Well, that's kind of part of like I guess that's just kind of part of the progression of like game design, is kind of figuring that out. I mean, I remember the default control in Medal of Honor Underground to fire was X, like yeah, I guess that's just how innovation and progression goes. I mean, people sometimes call it copying, but like you're just building off of each other, and everyone in every industry on earth does that. It's not like every generation, like we have to like, all right, like that generation owns that, all that shit. So now you have to reinvent the wheel, like literally, like, and COD made such a good control scheme, and a lot of it's borrowed from Halo, that it's really just been the standard. I do like that, I do miss, I guess, when like there was more experimentation, but it's kind of like we figured these things out already, so we don't really have to do that now, which I guess is a little bit of a shame, but it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, throwing some more nostalgia up on the screen here. Check out these World at War maps. You were into World at War. Yeah, that's right, because you talked about the SKG.
The Gewehr. Yeah, we got Macon Day, which I think they added later, because the original one was the night version.
Yeah.
Castle Dome, which is always bothered me. There's two domes in COD. There's the World at War dome and the Modern Warfare 3 dome, and they're totally different. I actually don't know the name of the one on the bottom right.
Dude, you're right, man. That actually might not be one of the standard maps. I threw that in there.
The DLC maps for World at War. I got to play some of the DLC zombies with buddies, like at their place, but I never owned it at the time. When I go back and do like a full review of this game, which I plan to do, I'm going to buy the DLC maps. But if that might be why I don't recognize it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Dude, I just love the like desaturated palette, but like as far as the gameplay, it was straight up fucking COD 4.
Oh yeah, World at War. Like, and I've been saying this since it came out. Like, it's a like copy and paste of COD 4, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because COD 4 was awesome. And I'm old enough to remember like when World at War was the newest, and they were still numbering their CODs like 1, 2, 3, 4. There were a lot of people who called this game COD 5. I don't know if anyone else remembers that other than me, but like people would hit me up, and like when I'm on COD 4, and they're like, "Bro, COD 5," and I'm just like, I don't know, like. World at War was awesome, but I always liked COD 4's multiplayer just a bit more.
Dude, yeah, I can't imagine calling this COD 5.
It's so weird now, yeah, but when it was new, like that's what people would say. And then after like MW2 came out, people were like, okay, like they're not really naming them like conventionally anymore, like they're kind of splitting off.
Yeah. All right. What are some of your fondest memories of the games on the screen here? And for those of you who can't see, it's Modern Warfare 2, 2009, Black Ops 2010, Modern Warfare 3, 2011, and Black Ops 2, 2012.
Campaign-wise, Modern Warfare 2, oh man, it's gotta be, if I have to pick anything, it's gotta be Ghost's death. Like, that shit was tough. Like when Shepard betrays Ghost and Roach, and then like they're being lit on fire by Shadow Company, and then you can hear Price like screaming over the radio, "Do not trust Shepard," and it's too late. Oh man, that hits. There were so many like fan theories back in the day, like conspiracies of like Ghost isn't really dead because of this. Like, and I was like so dialed into that. I'm like, yeah, fuck no, there's no way they're killing Ghost. And when with MW3's like promotional material, I feel like they really leaned into that and kind of like misled us that might have actually been the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely for me for MW2. That's got to be like the main moment.
Okay, dude. So I realized this the other day. I don't think I ever played the campaign for Black Ops 2, which I know is terrible. But
Like terrible that you haven't played it, or that the campaign is terrible?
no, it's terrible that I haven't played it still.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, the campaign's pretty good.
Yeah. Dude, I was of the games on the screen here, I was deep into the multiplayer of all three of these games. And this was around the time 2012. I was like, I got busy with work or something, or I was looking for jobs, and I was like, I can't play multiplayer anymore. But everybody, dude, I feel like Black Ops 2 gets glazed on the internet more than like any of the Call of Duties, possibly.
I think it's because it's the last one in what people consider the golden era.
Yeah.
Also, someone in chat says BO2 campaign sucked. Yeah, okay. Sure. Be contrarian, that's fine. It did have like basically like a stand-in for Hillary Clinton, which was cringe. And then I remember like the warship you were on, it was like the SS Barack Obama, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of gay.
Oh,
But
fuck.
but otherwise, I thought the campaign was pretty good, and it switched between like, at the time future, which is 2025, which fucking hurts, and then like 1980s, which was pretty neat. And then like you could customize your class like for whatever,
Yeah.
and like for campaign. And I think if you what was it? I think you had to like unlock something or do like certain achievements or something, and then you could use like any gun from any era in any mission, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's sick. All right. What about multiplayer? Looking at these games, what multiplayer jumps out to you?
Well, my favorite is probably until I die is going to be Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
I remember I had neither Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 1 at the time when I bought my PS3. Like that's when I kind of decided to make the switch.
Mm-hmm.
And MW2 at the time, Black Ops 1 just came out, and MW2 was still full priced. And even though Black Ops 1 was new and I liked it, I went for MW2 instead.
I mean, dude, if I could go back and have like full MW2 lobbies right now, that'd be hard to say no to.
Oh yeah, it's if you hadn't played it, or like hadn't played it like during the time, it's really hard to explain to you just how fun that was.
Dude, I think the reason that me and my brother moved on to Black Ops is because, to be honest, we were just getting our ass beat in Modern Warfare 2 lobbies, because the kill streaks, dude, were out of control on Modern Warfare 2. It was like every game you would play was like chopper gunner, AC-130, nuke, what was the thing, the remote, the single bomb that you would target
the Predator missile.
Somebody's head. Dude, the Predator missile. Like,
well, I think like that's such a big appeal to MW2 was like that game was balanced only because literally everything was overpowered as fuck.
right.
But I love that like cocaine fueled fucking design that they came up with.
Right.
It's so addictive. I think someone actually in chat said, I was reading it earlier. I've been trying to keep up with it a little bit. Someone said like MW2 multiplayer is as close you can get to like digital cocaine, and I think that's totally correct. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Whoever said that, that's based.
Dude, yeah, Vince Zampanella was just doing lines of cocaine off of a stripper the whole time.
Let him cook, bro. Let him cook.
Because I think that was his last game before he went over to do Titanfall.
Yeah, I think he was sued and fired by Activision.
Yeah, dude.
That whole story is nuts. Yeah, if you guys don't know it, like I won't really go over the whole thing, I guess, just that like they kind of accused him of conspiracy of like delaying DLC or whatever, like to help out Battlefield or some shit. And like as a result, I think they like withheld all their bonuses from the game.
Wait, so this was in 2009?
Yeah, well, technically it was 2010 because it was like when it would have been like DLC time for MW2. But yeah.
Okay.
And by that point, like they were like already working on like MW3 and stuff like that. And so, for anyone who doesn't know, like MW3 was like it was like a conjunction of like the foundation Infinity Ward laid down, and then it was like finished up by like Sledgehammer and Raven, which is why it feels a little different than the other two.
Yeah, what did Sledgehammer done?
I actually have no fucking idea. I know Raven made some cool shit like Singularity.
Oh yeah, dude, Raven,
Soldier of Fortune.
Oh, dude, Raven software is legendary. But yeah, do you know anything more about the story other than that they like they accused him of like doing something dishonest and they fired him, I guess.
Well, I guess like they settled out of court, so I couldn't say if the allegations were true or not. I don't know if anybody knows.
Hmm. It is funny that he ended up back at EA, even though
Yeah. Well, and then like they left EA to spite them, and then made COD, and then I think
Right.
they made Titanfall to spite COD, and then I think COD got so butt mad about it that they're like, all right, you know what, Sledgehammer, fuck you, like we hear what they're doing over there, so you guys got to make like an advanced movement, whatever. And I think that's why we got like the 3 advanced movement like exosuit games just to
Oh,
spite
fuck.
Titanfall.
Yeah, just
It was just like they put us through the worst era of COD at pure salt. It was
pure salt. All because EA got butt mad.
I know people glaze Black Ops 3, but I'm not one of them.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Guys, go play the campaign to Black Ops 3 right now, and you'll see it
is so
trash.
fucking bad.
It's so terrible.
When we started this podcast, someone in the chat made a train go boom joke, which is great because that's the only part of Black Ops 3's campaign I can even remember.
Which somebody delivered that line like not ironically.
Yeah, like 10 times. Like 10 fucking times the dude says train go boom. Like, okay, we get it. I'm like, fuck.
Jeez. The one thing that I remember liking about MW3 was it had a really fun horde mode.
Yeah, they had the survival mode. They had the Spec Ops mission mode from MW2, and then they also had the chaos mode that came later, which is cool. And what I loved is that the MW3 dropped so much DLC. We had so many fucking maps, and they made all those maps also compatible with the survival mode, and they also, with every one of those drops, gave us Spec Ops missions too, and that was really cool. Yeah, so there's like 60 of them. It's awesome.
Dude, I'm completely blanking on like what even were the Modern Warfare 3 maps. Oh, the only one I can remember is that like French town you were in.
Resistance, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think they brought that back for for Infinite Warfare of all games.
Oh god. All right. So on the screen here, what are some of your fondest memories from these games? We've got Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Truly the shit games of this generation.
Ghosts gets a lot of hate, but it really tried to do something different. I think
which was what?
Well, for one, it didn't really reuse almost any, maybe like 1 or 2 guns from past COD games. It kind of tried to give us all new weapons, which I thought was pretty neat. The perk system was amazing, the best COD's ever had. Although the issue is that the COD audience is like way too fucking stupid to understand it, I think. Which is a shame because it's very brilliantly made. We also have like creating your own character, which is awesome. So like you're not like a specialist operator, like whatever, like preset character. Like you had just a bunch of different faces that you could make, and a ton of different gear that you could mix and match and unlock. And it was really fucking cool. And I wish that more people had appreciated that because we'd get more of that. The campaign's narrative was interesting, even if its gameplay was a little lacking. They had their third mode. They had like squads and stuff, which was like, man, like you're just kind of like setting up like an AI squad and having other people like compete against it. It is a little half baked, whatever. But their main like third mode was Extinction, which was like, I guess like cryptids or aliens or whatever, and it was very like distinctly different from zombies. And I actually really liked it. The biggest issue though is to upgrade your character. Like not only do you have to like beat like that quote unquote round, like the rounds are kind of structured in a very different way from like traditional zombies. But you also had like a challenge on top of it. And so like and you could fail them like pretty easily. Sometimes they were kind of challenging and specialized. And so if you were playing with randoms, you're gonna have a bad time because they're usually like too stupid and like don't cooperate. But if you're playing with your buddies who are like reliable, it can be a pretty good time. And the hit detection was also amazing in that game. Probably too good. The biggest issue with Ghosts for sure is that, if I'm remembering this correctly, the game was supposed to not be 6v6 standard. It was supposed to be 10v10. And so all the maps were catered to that size. And Activision made them remove that, I guess, like last minute, and so all the maps felt way too big, and it really, really slowed the pacing.
Hmm.
And that's definitely a big fucking problem.
Hmm.
But if you were to play like Ground War in that game, the game felt great.
Hmm. Dude, I need to go back and give the old campaign a try because I never tried it. Were you like Spec Ops dudes or something?
You were like, I guess, an elite unit or whatever called like the Ghosts or whatever. Like you start off like your dad is like telling you like he was like a ghost or whatever, which is like kind of revealed later.
Mhm.
Spoilers for the illustrious COD Ghost, fucking 12 years later.
Yeah.
And he's like telling you stories about that, and like you're like his son, and like you have like your brother, and they're like, that's not really true, right? And then like satellites like get hijacked and they like hit the earth and like basically cause like the apocalypse. And it's really funny because like the main faction of the game, like the enemy faction is the Federation, which is all of Central and South America like teamed up. And it's like, okay, that's a little silly. But
I mean, I guess it's somewhat believable that the Latino countries would team up.
they probably all have a shared hatred of the United States, I would assume.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, then like you form like the new ghosts or whatever, and it's the plot doesn't really, it's not really a big picture kind of plot of like you're saving America from the apocalypse, or it's more just like a family story, more or less, which
Mhm.
is very different from other CODs. And I guess I'll give it credit for being different.
Hmm. Um. Did you play Advanced Warfare?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did. Yeah.
Dude, I remember. Okay, I actually remember this was when I jumped back into Call of Duty for a second, and I remember there were some set pieces in the campaign that I really liked, like because I recently had just enjoyed the what was the Matt Damon Neil Blomkamp movie, Elysium.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Even
see that, but I remember it.
yeah, that one in District 9. Even though I'd probably be
District
like,
9 was cool.
yo, dude, District 9 was cool as fuck, and like looking back on it now, I'd probably like hate the politics of Elysium because I remember the whole movie was about like, oh, here are the rich people and the poor people. But I thought the Robo Arms were really cool in that movie. And when Infinite Warfare had it, I really enjoyed the campaign. But but I'm sure everybody remembers the meme of like
Oh, that's where the press F to pay respects thing comes from.
yeah,
Yeah.
This is where press F to pay respects came from. And then what's his name?
You had Kevin Spacey as the
Kevin
main villain of the
Spacey.
game.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey was
This was
that,
before the Kid Diddler stuff was known.
yeah. When he's like, yeah, he's like, this is welcome to Advanced Warfare, son, or whatever.
Advanced
Um,
Warfare, like
yeah,
like I
it's
like
not a
that
good
kind of
game. It's
movement
not a
in
good game.
Titanfall. It's
Yeah.
not it's not that it's inherently bad. It's just not what I want from COD.
Well, ironically, didn't they just add that wall jump thing to Black Ops 7?
Yeah, but it's just jumping. There's no jetpacks, there's
Oh,
no
okay.
wall running,
Okay.
and no pun intended, but the wall jumping feels shockingly grounded, and it feels really, really good. I'm
Dude,
actually
there's
really
your
impressed.
headline. There's your takeaway quote. The wall running feels shockingly grounded.
Wall jumping.
Oh, sorry, the wall jumping feels shockingly grounded.
It was actually pretty good. It worked really well. And I remember like after the beta was over, like we were playing like the new NW3 and I was trying to do it and I was like, fuck, like it's not in here, it doesn't work. Like even in zombies, sometimes if you would get cornered like by a train, because they had that in the beta too.
Mhm.
Sometimes like you could use that to like kind of jump against the wall and like over them. And it worked really well. I actually was really surprised that I didn't hate it because when they first said that they were going to do wall jumping, I'm like, okay, this is going to suck. But yeah, you might be surprised.
Is the Omni movement still in there?
It is, and it's way tuned up. It is so much tighter than it was in Black Ops 6. Like my main buddy is like, man, I can't play Black Ops 6. I fucking hate it. I hate the Omni movement. It sucks. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I think it's a good concept. I think it needs a little bit of a tuning.
Mm.
And they definitely did that, and it feels much better.
Mm.
And I'm not
Uh,
glazing Black Ops 7 really. I mean, if you guys want to know like my most detailed thoughts on it, like you can watch the video I launched tonight if you're interested. But I'll give it credit where it's due.
Yeah. What? So, yeah, I think everybody seems to agree that around 2016, like COD was in the shitter. But what game here would you say was like, okay, Call of Duty is done?
I think I first thought that with like as I first had that inkling with Advanced, and
Yeah.
then when they decided to continue it with Black Ops 3, I was like, okay, like it's over.
Yeah. Didn't Black Ops 3, did you play BO3 multiplayer?
Yeah, way more than I'm proud of. But like before we go on like to that, I wanted to say like, we talk about a lot in 2025 about like a lot of scummy monetization and such.
Uh-huh.
Black Ops 2 like introduced microtransactions. They weren't really super egregious, but it's like $3 for like this fucking bacon camo, which is like stupid, but they weren't like crazy.
Mhm.
And then Ghosts had some microtransactions too. They had like playable character skins like Makarov or Zakayev or whatever. They had like announcer packs, which was interesting. They had Snoop Dogg and R. Lee Ermey from Full Metal Jacket. The latter is actually pretty fucking cool. But Advanced Warfare is the one that introduced supply drops. And then, we're about to get to Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 made them like extraordinarily egregious. I guess they were egregious in Advanced Warfare, maybe. It's arguably to a stronger extent because they locked gun variants behind them that had like special abilities and like different stats, and like some of them were extraordinarily strong. Like there was oh man, I'm blanking on their names, like the Speakeasy and stuff like that, like just variants that were just crushing everyone. So in order to have any chance of getting them, you pretty much had to pay. Like no matter how much you played that game, you almost were never guaranteed to actually get it like for free. But Black Ops 3, locked not just variants, but like entire weapons behind that system. And the odds were very, very, very stacked against you.
So Black Ops 3 was essentially pay to win?
Black Ops 3 was super pay to win, yeah. There's a lot of guns, like,
Jeez.
even if you, like, play private matches, like, you can't use those guns. So, even if I, like, wanted to show them for, like, reference in a video or whatever, I couldn't do it.
Wait, what? You couldn't show them in a video?
Well, because they're not I don't have them unlocked, and, they're not unlocked by default in private matches either.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
you'd have to actually buy them in the multiplayer in order to use them to any extent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
someone just posted in the chat. They misspelled it, but yeah, Obsidian Steed. Yeah, that was like the BAL like super sweat variant from Advanced Warfare. That was a fucking big problem.
so okay, so it seems like in Black Ops 3, which I did not play at all, they had this was one of the games where they first introduced, were these like heroes?
Yeah, this is kind of like in the era where like Overwatch and stuff was popping off.
Right.
And so this is when they went to like this kind of gay like pseudo MOBA route where they want like these specialized characters with their specialized abilities or whatever,
Mhm.
and their cringy voice lines and the little winner circle at the end of each game with your guy doing like the nay nay emote. Ah, dude,
Fuck.
I I want like a fucking like an ice pick through my skull, like thinking about how
Dude,
cringe that show was.
dude, and it's crazy that was 10 years ago and like we're right back to it right now.
Yeah, and it was like that. It was more egregious in the Treyarch games, at least initially, because Black
Mhm.
Ops 4 was like this too. With
Mhm.
Infinite Warfare, like your character is like it's still like applied like mechanically where
Mhm.
like oh you're playing as the striker and like the striker character has like this and this or whatever, but they were like nameless and faceless at least
Mhm.
without like the cringy dialogue and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah,
But,
dude, I
it
yeah,
wasn't
I
until Modern Warfare 2019 where they kinda took it, like, into a different step where it was kinda like some of each, where you still had, like, the faced and named characters with their dialogue, but they weren't really super cringy, at least most of them weren't, and then, like, it separated the ability and, like, turned them into field upgrades where you can, like, apply any field upgrade to any operator, so you didn't have to just choose, like, "Oh, like, I really like this ability, but this character is cringe," and so, like, whatever, like, you didn't have to, like, make that choice, which was nice.
yeah. Um okay, so just pulling stuff up on the screen here. So yeah, dude, I don't even remember. I don't think I played Infinite Warfare's multiplayer at all.
Infinite Warfare's multiplayer played a lot like Black Ops 3, but a little smoother. and it suffered from like the variant issue of like some of them being like super overpowered and shit that Advanced
Mhm.
Warfare had,
Mhm.
which is really, really, really annoying in multiplayer. But those variants also had abilities in zombies, which actually did make the zombies feel more interesting and more varied.
Mm.
So, for multiplayer, it's a big L. For zombies, I think it's a big W.
Hmm. All right, and then we had the Call of Duty World War II that was supposed to bring us back to the realistic and gritty stuff, but I do seem to remember that there was kind of like a lobby you would walk into, and you were walking around in this world with a bunch of other players, and these like retarded like airdrops would drop down, and they would like give you your fucking gay weapon skins and like in your based realism World War II game, you know?
Yeah, this was the headquarters, which they kind of copied like the tower from Destiny, which I guess they're
Right.
both Activision, I suppose, so makes sense
Right.
and to
Right.
some degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had like they made it like some kind of like spectator event to like open up a supply drop in front of everybody. Like, oh,
God.
here's your 3 common shit fucking pistol grips you're never gonna use. Congrats, asshole. You know, but that place did have some cool things. Like you could like it had the shooting range, and you could like 1v1 other people in like the shooting
Uh-huh.
range, which was really
Uh-huh.
cool. It had the pit that you could 1v1 other people in. It was like
Uh-huh.
first to 3, and that was pretty fun.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, otherwise it just felt like an unnecessary like extra step. The UI in that game was fucking horrific, and they
Mhm.
overhauled it like 3 times. They overhauled the class system like twice because the class system was very different than any other COD before or since.
Hmm.
So,
Did
if I had a dollar for every time I heard fucking boots on the ground, like in the marketing for this game, it's crazy.
Well, yeah, and then that's what they're doing now with Battlefield 6. A lot of boots on the ground mentions.
And I think this game, like, it just had the 2 factions. It was just like Axis allies or whatever. And if I
Mhm.
remember right, you had very little, if any, customization of your Axis character, which is kind of lame.
Hmm. Um did they remove the headquarters?
No, they didn't, but they made it
Okay.
unnecessary to where you can just get into a game straight from like the like main menu as opposed to having to load into the headquarters and then go to some guy and then say, I want to play team deathmatch, you know.
Yeah. Um, all right, Black Ops 3. Or
That's
sorry, Black
4.
Ops 4. Did you play it?
Black Ops 4, I've maybe played 5 matches of total, and I hated it so fucking much. Like, firstly, like, they didn't Black Ops 4 doesn't have a campaign, it's the only COD that doesn't have one.
Yeah.
And I remember that Treyarch lied about this and said, like, "Oh, like, we were never working on a campaign." But, of course, like, leaks and data miners and stuff found that, oh, okay, like, they did work on a campaign, and it was mostly finished, and it was probably shit, so they cut it. Um but the multiplayer is super different. They changed it to like 5 on 5. It's very like MOBA esque. You
Well,
have like
because
manual healing instead of auto healing.
well, it was PUBG and Fortnite had just come out, so it was essentially a battle royale game, wasn't it?
Well, no, well, I'm talking about their standard multiplayer. But you are
Okay.
right in the sense where they introduced the blackout mode, which was their battle royale before Warzone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And blackout actually it wasn't bad. I think blackout was substantially better than the actual like multiplayer was.
Hmm.
And it's pretty different from Warzone. It plays a lot more like PUBG.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then it seemed that I mean they really found massive success with Warzone, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean it launched right at the perfect time where like most people in like the cuck states or other countries like were like locked down or whatever and looking for something to play, and Warzone was free.
Yeah. All right. Now we get to a return to form for the Series 19 Modern Warfare.
Yeah, this game has become extremely controversial. I guess it always kind of was. People either really, really love this game or really, really hate this game. And I'm definitely in the former camp. Uh, while not perfect overall, I really love this game.
Hmm.
Um, I think a big issue a lot of people had with this was the level design specifically. And I'll admit it's not really great depending on what modes you like to play. Like I'm a big like search player.
Hmm.
And they also introduced a new game mode that's kind of like Search called Cyber Attack, which I love to death. Um, but if you like those like one life modes, then those maps were fantastic. And if not, you're probably gonna have a tough time.
Hmm.
But it introduced the gunsmith system. It's to this day, despite being 6 years old, the best looking COD ever made.
Hmm.
Um, the gunplay, the gun customization, which we talked about earlier, are absolutely the best in the series. Maybe some of the best in games in general.
Dude, and I think it feels like they're still using the same basic system for the Call of Duties that are coming out now. To me, it feels like the gunplay has not changed since this game came out, in my opinion.
I definitely think it has. I think it's noticeable. But I've played in a tremendous amount of COD, so maybe not
Mhm.
everybody notices.
Yeah.
Um, but like this game and Vanguard have like identical gunplay. Obviously, Vanguard's
Hmm.
gunsmith system is kind of where it sucks because they like let you just like bubba and just totally annihilate these like beautiful World War II guns with as many attachments as you could muster, and it looked really stupid. But the gunplay felt very, very similar. Cold Wars, which came out between this and Vanguard, definitely felt different. Now, this campaign was extraordinarily cinematic, the most cinematic COD's ever been. The set pieces were amazing. The gameplay itself in the campaign was incredible. The story and the characters are a little woke, and that shit didn't age well with me at all. Like one of your main characters is Gaz, and you might remember him from COD 4. They race
Hmm.
swapped Gaz. Um,
Oh
they also
God.
have like a section where like this like black like general or whatever is like coming over and just like emasculating this like white male colonel that they make like viciously like evil with this like stereotypical like evil grin shit like later. It's very weird and very cringe. Also, like they have Farah, like the female leader of these like super virtuous like Muslim fighters or whatever.
Oh
It's
God.
it's
Yeah.
just all over the place. This game also like during its life cycle was like the George Floyd and riots and shit like that. And for like a whole month or maybe even two, they replaced all the loading screens with just a black screen that just said Black Lives Matter on it.
Oh fuck.
They also had like a time, I don't remember how long, maybe like a weekend, where they shut the servers down and told people to go and riot for George Floyd instead.
Fuck off, dude.
So
So
the
gay.
amazing thing this game has done and its legacy is very much, in my opinion, tainted by that kind of shit.
Dude. Wait, was that in the midst of like Warzone blowing up that they did that junk?
I'm not sure if Warzone was out by that point. It might have been.
Okay. Oh, wait. So, okay. 2019. Yeah, I think it was yeah, cuz
Because this
like
game lasted from October 2019 to October of 2020.
right, yeah, cuz yeah, with COVID, I think it was right at the start of COVID was around the time that Warzone came out.
Right.
Um God, dude. Yeah, I don't even remember. Like, I remember the aside from the politics, I remember the campaign of this being like really well designed from like a story point of view. Like, and I was
Mhm.
just, I was just glad you were killing terrorists. Like, this is,
Yeah.
dude. This is honestly the last game where it's like, oh, cool, I get to kill terrorists because like every fucking woke game now, like you don't even get to kill terrorists anymore.
Yeah, and it's I mean they still make like the Russians like the bad guys, like the Muslims are the good guys and at the end, and like the Russians are the true terrorists or whatever. It's a little gay, but
Yeah, dude. As long,
but like
yeah.
they even took like scenes from like the movie I think it's Zero Dark 30 maybe.
Hmm, hmm,
Um like scenes from that and like turn them into like campaign segments, and they're really fucking cool.
hmm. Um, All right, moving on to these games. Dude, I got to be honest. I think I started the Black Ops Cold War campaign and I was like, this is just boring and I quit playing it. But what did you think? So not considering multiplayer, did you play any of these campaigns?
Yeah. Well, I didn't play Vanguard. Um, and I don't know a whole ton about it as far as
Dude,
like the campaign
Vanguard,
goes.
the clips I've seen from the Vanguard campaign look like just woke slop, dude.
For so to start, I guess with Cold War is I can't quite get into it without talking at least about the beta. Like I played the beta for Cold War,
Mhm.
and while I thought it was fine, I thought they undid a lot of the cool things that 2019 did, and to me, it felt like a step back. And as a result, I didn't get it at launch. I skipped it. I was like, I'll just play 2019 for another year. Like I love this game. I'm having fun. Um, and so I didn't actually play the campaign to this day, but I did see it. I watched it on YouTube like when it was new. So I know like the story elements. Like they have like new characters like Russell Adler, who's super fucking cool. Shit like that.
Mhm.
Campaign for Vanguard. The only thing I know about Vanguard's campaign is that like train destruction sequence that lasts for like 20 fucking minutes. And I feel really bad for whoever had to animate that. That sounds like hell.
Dude, they're paid plenty of money, probably like $200 million budget for it, I'm sure.
I hope so. I hope that guy was given like $1 million bonus. That seemed like hell on earth.
Dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
sorry.
Dude, I remember I feel like I remember the campaign from the MW2 reboot being pretty good. I remember there was like a scene where you were on a bunch of cars and you had to like leap from car roof to car roof as you were fighting these guys. And I was like, okay, that's like pretty unique for a Call of Duty game, I thought.
That section was cool, but it lasted way too long. I felt like it really like
Yeah.
overstayed its welcome. But like it was a cool way to introduce that, like, hey, like Warzone 2 is coming, and like in Warzone 2, you're gonna be able to do all these like this cool hijacking shit, which is admittedly like cool, like mechanically. MW2's campaign, like it introduced Shepard. Shepard like looks and sounds nothing like the original. They actually got the guy who played Overlord, like the announcer from
Mhm.
MW2, to play Shepard, which I hate when they do that. Like I hate when it's like this character, like this actor was already in the past game as a different character. Like, Glenn Morshower, you might also recognize him as like the main interrogator from the Battlefield 3 campaign. And he's great. Like I have nothing like it's not his fault at all. But I just feel like they should have found someone different because they'd already used him in a
Mm.
different way. That campaign I thought was okay. Like they introduced fuck, I don't even remember. Like they introduced Ghost, obviously, and Soap. What is the Alejandro, the Mexican guy that you're with? There was like a section like when he's first introduced and you're playing as him, and like you jump over like the US, like Texas, like the Texas, like Mexico border, and then like you're like pointing your guns at like Americans like in their homes. And I didn't like that shit one fucking bit. I hated that. I thought that
Oh,
was really egregious.
because you're like on the side of the Mexicans?
Well, because you are Mexican and you hop the border to a country you
Ah.
have no jurisdiction in, and you're fucking like breaking into like Americans' homes and telling them to get on the fucking ground and pointing guns at them. And like the person with the radio says, like, you don't have any jurisdiction, don't cross the border, and they still do that. I hated that.
Oh,
Um,
dude, yeah, of course they'll put some gay
and
communist homo
and they
trash
speak
in there.
Spanish constantly, and it's fucking annoying. I hate when they like switch back and forth, like half the sentence is English and half is Spanish. I've always hated that in any game. And then like they have like the main cartel leader who's like a girl, and it's like they don't even really do anything with her. They don't even like they catch like the main bad guy or whatever, Hassan, and then let him go, and then he dies at the end in like a really like boring, like kind of anticlimactic way. The coolest character they introduced though is probably Graves, who's like the leader of like Shadow Company, and like predictably because it happened in the original NW2, like they end up like betraying you and shit. And then they have like a boss fight with him in a tank, and it was kind of lame. I don't know. Like the campaign is like kind of all over the place. Like there were some good parts and some lame parts too.
Dude, fuck, I remember that boss fight with the tank at the end. That's right, I remember that jug.
And that multiplayer was very like widely hated.
Yeah.
The gunplay is very different from 2019.
Mhm.
Way more visual recoil. They don't even like properly line your iron sights upright, and like the recoil is like so extreme.
Mm.
Like 2018 was like a perfect combination of like predictable and punchy, and MW2 was just like way, way, way over the top. Like if I'm playing a game and I'm this like tier zero, like spec ops, like beyond like Delta Force SAS level guy, and like I can control an M4 in real life better than he can, like we have a
Mhm.
problem. That's
Yeah.
that's that's insane. Oh, right here, the footage you're showing. I think this is like the Benghazi stuff, like from Zero Dark 30. Like
Okay.
this section is super cool. Um, Yeah, and they also did the perk system thing where like you earn your perks like over time throughout the match. And
Hmm.
that shit, that was the dumbest decision ever. I have no fucking idea what made them do that. And like it got so much like backlash. I have no idea why they didn't reverse it.
Hmm.
It also had spec ops and like operations, and they're not really particularly good. Neither were 2019s, though, to be fair. They have DMZ, which mean you played recently, but right now it's just like sweats and hackers and various like Mexicans who are both sweating and hacking. But in its day, DMZ was very, very, very interesting. I'll actually give them credit on that, and I'm actually looking forward to DMZ 2 with Modern Warfare 4. But yeah, that's the new MW2. Um, I very generally, don't love this game.
Yeah. I think I would like DMZ more if like it felt like I'm really progressing by getting better and better weapons, because it still feels like anything that I'm playing with I can like kill a dude pretty quickly with it. Except for those guys who like rolled in on us with the drones. I would like to get I need to get I want to get my hands on a drone.
I would love to have you try that again, like with but this time like we'll have like one of my buddies who's like good, and
Yeah.
we'll get you a feel for it. I think
And
it's
we
got a
can
lot of potential still.
me.
What's the next one? MW3?
Dude, MW3, I remember people just clowning on this game because it was so bad.
People, well, it's funny because when it first came out, people were like, "Oh, like this is just a cash grab, like whatever."
Mhm, mhm,
Because it had its own guns, but it also carried forward all the MW2 guns, which I don't have a problem with at all. I think that's totally fine.
mhm,
If you have more weaponry in your game, to me, that's better. Like I love that kind of shit.
mhm,
It also launched with all the original MW2 maps remade.
hmm.
Sometimes for the
Oh, dude,
worst.
that's sick.
Yeah, sometimes they ruin them though. Like they
Dude,
ruined like
so
V-Rail in the state pretty hard.
okay, so I guess dude, so I guess I didn't think about that. Well, but they're not bringing back like the kill streaks and all the other iconic things from 2009
No, the kill streaks all
MW2.
carried forward from the new MW2, with some ones that they added themselves.
Yeah.
But
Right.
nowadays, MW3 is considered one of the best CODs of the modern era, which is
Hmm.
pretty funny how that works. Um, like they had like events all the time. They added like new and interesting stuff all the time. They brought forward like a bunch of their own unique maps. They brought forward all the original, or sorry, the MW2 2022 maps. People nowadays really, really like that game.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, dude, it's it's such like terrible branding that like in order to find these games and to see people talking about them, you have to be like, or if I want to talk about the old one, I need to be like MW2 2009 or MW2 2022. Like
Right. Like if
it's
I'm writing
just
it, I
so
use the Roman
shitty,
numerals like the new ones, but I have to like say the full year it fucking came out if I'm speaking it.
dude.
It's annoying.
Yeah, dude, it's so shitty that they obviously did that because they're trying to be nostalgic about about the old games, but
That game got a lot of hate for its campaign though, also. I think that's where a
mhm,
lot of the hate came from because they released the campaign like a week early or something.
yeah.
But the multiplayer is pretty beloved. It also had like open world on like the Warzone map zombies, which
Hmm,
is interesting. It's like a combination of like zombies and DMZ.
hmm,
I wouldn't say it's bad though. It's different. I don't know if I love it, but I don't hate it either.
mhm. Dude, okay, so just to confirm, if I wanted to play like a remastered version of 2009 multiplayer, I can't do that anywhere, right?
I think there was a mod that somebody made where they did that,
Oh, yeah.
but Activision is pretty swift on taking those down. Sadly,
Dude, it
they
sucks
would
that we
just
have
print money if they just did that.
dude, it just sucks, yeah, that we have the 2016 remaster, which was awesome, but like, guys, Modern Warfare 2 was huge. Just like add that as a pack on something. Just be like, hey, we literally just took the game from 2009, but now it's in like 4K.
Give us a
And
Modern Warfare trilogy. Like, give the studios a break. Give them
yeah,
an extra year. Give us a Modern Warfare
yeah,
trilogy. Give us all three of the games with all of their guns and
yeah,
everything and their maps combined. That would be fucking sick.
yeah, dude. And like, I'm no tech whiz, but I'm pretty sure you can just bring the original 360 game into the new Xbox, up-res it, make it 4K, and it's definitely going to run 60 FPS, and just like give us some new textures and some new lighting, and boom, like that's all people want. We just straight up want MW2. We want to play it with full servers.
Well, for now, all we can do is dream, sadly.
Yeah. Dude, I was just thinking, it occurred to me, so they must have told Infinity Ward, hey, we need you guys to come up with MW2 and MW3 back-to-back years, and then they must have made a deal with Treyarch to say you guys have to come up with these back-to-back games.
Well, Sledgehammer made MW3. I think
okay.
I think Infinity Ward just kind of like helped guide the design, but the main work was done by Sledgehammer.
Okay. All right, so on to the last game. So what are your thoughts about, as far as like, well, you've only played the beta on Black Ops 7, but on Black Ops 6, what's your general thought about the campaign and the multiplayer?
I've known nothing about the campaign, actually. I never even bothered to look it up.
Dude, it's like, it's fucking slop. Don't even touch it. It's so woke. I hate it.
Yeah, Black Ops 6's beta, like multiplayer beta, was pretty good and pretty promising. But they fucked that game up hard. Some of the zombies maps are pretty good though, but it's not even like a gameplay thing. It's mostly just an art direction thing.
Yeah, and this added Omni movement, right?
Yeah, that's the first game that had it.
I forgot. Do you play Warzone?
I played Warzone when it was brand new, but not really since. I kind of like the 2019 version of Warzone, and I felt like it was just overcomplicated and downgraded ever since that.
Yeah, you're just not a battle royale guy.
I'm interested in a battle royale if I feel like it's really good, but I haven't felt like that was the case in quite a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude, we're freaking at 2 hours and 30 minutes here. So trying to think of a good like tie it off question here I can add. But dude, this has been really fun, and it's mostly just been you narrating like every single COD game. Dude, because I don't think I've ever met somebody that has played, like, you've literally played like almost every single COD since like 2007 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big first person shooter junkie, just generally, and COD has really been king since at least 2007, if not sooner. So I've been kind of funneled into that, like people like shit on me or like, oh, you're a COD fanboy, whatever. That's not necessarily the case. I mean, like, there's been times where I choose Battlefield over COD. Like, I loved Battlefield 4. I played the shit out of that. Battlefield 3 I loved. And odds are, the women thing is annoying, but I might choose Battlefield 6 over Black Ops 7. But we'll see.
Yeah, dude, if you get it, we can play together. I've got it, and like it's fun, man. They've like, I think with Battlefield 6, they just beta tested the hell out of it. They had a lot of people play it, and they just made it really fun. And it's amazing. They're like, the destructible buildings are really fun. Like, the weapons are really fun. They nerfed all of the special magical bullshit, like the squirrel suit flying around, and nothing feels like insanely OP. It just feels like, okay, I'm a soldier on the ground, and I'm, it feels like somewhat believable. Like, oh, I could be in the Iraq war right now doing this, but obviously, I'm respawning every 10 seconds. So it's not completely realistic, but it still has like a realistic feel, I guess is what I'm saying, while also being really fun.
As much as I hated that fucking 2042, like in general, I hated the specialists and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I will say the wingsuit was kind of fun. Although I had to play as that dumb bitch in order to use it, which was annoying.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, and dude, don't read when you get into Battlefield 6. Anybody listening to this, don't read the bios for the women, because so you start out and there's like two factions, America versus not America, it's fucking NATO, because we can't be the USA, that would be offensive. So it's NATO versus whatever the PMC guys are called. I'm blanking on their name. So those are the two
Pax Armada.
right. Pax Armada versus NATO. And so you have four different operators on each side that you can pick from, like the standard 4 battlefield classes. 2 of each class is a woman, and you cannot change